Scott here with your sports headlines. Jarrod Bowen's apologised after confronting a West Ham fan following their Carabao Cup exit to Wolves last night. But talkSPORT's Danny Murphy says that of all the West Ham players, Bowen is the only one fans can't point the finger at.
He's probably taken it personally, which happens when you're passionate in the middle of a game. They actually were the better team first half. I didn't see the second half. I only saw the first.
He's in the Sweden squad to face Slovenia and Kosovo. Meanwhile, there's uproar from many Manchester United fans that the idea Kobbie Mainoo could leave the club. talkSPORT understands Mainoo would consider leaving for a suitable offer. And five-time league winner with United, John O'Shea, is baffled that he's not getting any game time under Amorim.
He's a quality player. United cannot afford to be losing him or selling him for any reason whatsoever. He's definitely, I hope, part of the future of the club that's going to be successful, without a doubt.
For all the latest transfer news, head to the live blog on the website at talksport.com. And despite their shock Champions League exit at the hands of Kazakh side Kairat Almaty, Brendan Rodgers had this to say about his players.
I can't fault them. From the first day back, they've been brilliant. Over the course of pre-season, they've given absolutely everything. Domestically, we've started well in the league. You still need that little bit of extra finesse.
Celtic failed to score a goal in 210 minutes of football played across both legs, losing on penalties last night.
talkSPORT News.
Households are being urged to consider switching to fixed deals after a bigger than expected hike in energy bills ahead of the winter. And 60 cancer charities say by 2040 there could be more than 6 million new cases in England.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. Buy 2 or more Bridgestone Turanza all-season 6 tyres and claim Bridgestone's massive 20,000 mileage guarantee. Visit quickfit.com and book today. Conditions apply.
Heavy rain moving northeast across much of the UK with some showers in the south later, some sunny spells as well.
This is Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs with you through until 4 here on talkSPORT. Where this afternoon, Andy, please tell us what's coming up.
Coming up over the next 3 hours, a seasoned West Ham watcher tells us what's going wrong. We'll look at what's shaping up to be a sorry couple of days for the old firm. And how did we arrive at armbands for the under-18 grassroots referees?
We're also after reversible sporting names, your customised shirt sponsorships, and the place where you really shouldn't have fallen asleep. And our serious US sports correspondent, Brian T. Smith, is here to be press ganged into chatting about Travis and Tay-Tay's engagement. He's doing some other stuff as well.
Some other sport as well.
Yeah.
There's all this, that's not sport. There's all this plus. Gladiators in England rugby's Jodie Ounsley on her unlikely world record. The Luke Littler of snooker.
Yeah.
And Grimsby sporting comedian and actor Lloyd Griffith joins us en route to Blundell Park for tonight's United match.
Yeah, Lloyd's flown back from holiday to make sure he's at Blundell Park tonight for the game against Manchester United in the Carabao Cup. Which, of course, we'll be bringing you on talkSPORT too. We've got Everton Mansfield on talkSPORT. And that's the other way around, sorry. Anyway.
Mansfield now.
Mansfield won. Yeah. No, it's not the beaky clip.
No.
5 minutes past 1. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Andy.
Yes, welcome
Lovely
back.
to see you again. It feels like about a month I haven't seen you.
It is about a month.
Oh, it's been bliss.
Very interesting there. Danny Murphy saying he only saw the first half of Wolves versus West Ham.
Yeah.
I only saw the second half, so between us we can do a match report.
You get you both together like I know him so well. Yeah.
It was good to hear Tony Gale on CoComs.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Tony. He was great on Capital Goal, the old London football with Jonathan
Yes, he
Pearce.
was. Yeah. Go on, feel free to promote other stations.
Well, it's not on anymore, is it?
I don't know.
I haven't listened to
Maybe
it for
somewhere
about 30 years.
somewhere in a bunker. JP, Gailey, they'll get together. Rob Watton, Dave Clarkey, they all get together. They're still doing it. Yeah.
I'm sure about his phone. You remember Gale and Pace?
Yes, I used to love that. There was no pace there, was there? That's what I never quite understood. But anyway, that was a good show.
It was.
Other stations are available, but predominantly talkSPORT.
That's very true. And Taylor Swift, you mentioned her there. And
is she coming in?
No.
That would be great to come in. We've had the Noel Gallagher exclusive. It would be great to get the Taylor Swift. Hello, lads. Well, why would she speak like that?
Hello, lads.
So different from her singing voice. Hello, lads.
Hello, Adrian. She said...
Taylor's phoned us from Nashville. Hello, Adrian. Sorry about the posh stuff. Tough start of the season.
The ring apparently is an old mine brilliant cut diamond set on a gold band,
Lovely.
Especially made by female jewellery designer Kindred Lubbock.
Really? Is she from Texas?
People have called me that. And from Artifacts Fine Jewellery.
Who?
A jewellery expert, Nilesh Rakolia, said it would typically be worth between 750 grand and 1 million. You mean he didn't get it from the middle aisle at Lidl? What would you expect?
Wasn't a curtain ring. No.
And Brian Linford, our old friend, he's still been writing letters while he's been
This
away.
is Brian who writes in block capitals, and you accentuate them by shouting, don't you?
Yes, but he's been writing about football. We always like it when he writes about football.
Oh, yeah.
He says... Alexander Isak.
Frighten the life out of me. Can you go slightly off mic when you do that?
Alexander Isak.
That's more like it. Yeah.
Is paid 120 grand a week at NUFC.
He is, yeah.
Looking for 300 grand a week. Many players want away but play. He has a contract. Get him on.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Tell him to earn his corn. Training away from the group, festering on whether he has been dealt broken promises denied by the club. Full stop. Is no good for anyone.
Yeah, he's no.
You put a full stop in there.
He's no respecter of punctuation, is he?
They're all adults. Oh, he's brilliant, isn't he?
Well done, Brian. Keep them coming. Few things to get you going on today. We're going to be kicking off talking West Ham in a moment. It's not going magnificently well for the Hammers at the moment.
You don't say.
And apparently Mr. Barraclough, I understand, man, he was saying last week he's not a massive fan at all.
No, he's not.
Graham Potter. We called him that because at Chelsea, Andy always felt they needed a tough manager. They really needed Mr. Mackay, and they got Mr. Barraclough. Now, just everybody calm down before the second half.
You 15, come and train over here with you other 17.
Anyway,
yes.
We'll get to the bottom of that with Sam Delaney, West Ham fan and podcaster, in a few moments' time. But a couple of things to get you going on, which include today sponsorship. Ricky Gervais has said he's quite prepared to sponsor a football club, Andy. Is this right?
He says, as long as the players wore shirts that said, I love Ricky or I want my mummy. So he's sort of prepared to pay for somebody to have... Yeah, it was quite a good idea, really.
I mean, if you're a club, if you're a small club and you need cash and and if it gets you a new clubhouse, John Oliver's Last Week Tonight show has just sponsored. It was basically renamed because we've talked about minor league baseball teams. They do a lot of nut stuff to generate sort of income, and sometimes they do change their names. There was a team in Staten that changed their name to the Pizza Rats for a little while off the famous viral clip of a. Remember that? The rat with a bit of pizza on the New York subway?
Yes, I can't say I remember it.
But
I can imagine it.
Yeah, I mean, we all remember where we were when we saw that the first time. But a lot of people did, Andy. The kids would have seen it.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Some
absolutely,
of the kids of a certain age. So, where was I? Yeah, so Last Week Tonight have kind of rebranded a team. And there was loads of minor league baseball teams that wanted to do it. And I'm sure teams would line up to take Ricky's money and have I want my mummy on the shirt. I don't see a problem with it. So if money was no object, really, what would you do? If you could sponsor your club shirt, what would you put on it? There'd be a lot of sort of hate sponsorships. I would imagine, like, you get the Spurs sponsorship. They may say no, but they could have
Levy out.
Up the Arsenal and Levy out on it. So you could do a lot of that, couldn't you? Imagine that.
Brilliant.
All the fans, we've got change for Tottenham. What about if everybody put £1 in? And we got the stadium sponsorship, and it was the Levy Out Stadium. So it was a bit like when we used to come into Heathrow.
Yeah.
Over Griffin Park.
Yeah.
You'd see the KLM, wouldn't you, over there?
That's a good idea.
The Levy Out Stadium, Tottenham fans, £1 each. Let's see if we can get those stadium rights. I Kidding, of course. But anyway, if you had the complete option to choose what would be on the shirt of your club, what would it be? Let us know. talksport.com, text to 81089, tweet to TSH&J 03717223344. Dick Fosbury, the man who invented the Fosbury Flop, won a gold medal in '68 in the Olympics. His wife, he sadly died a little while ago, but his wife has just sold his gold medal from '68 for about £118,000, apparently.
I just wondered if you stood in the back of the room and flung it backwards.
I want all the money.
The person who bought it.
Yeah, so she's turned up, yeah. But that's a nice.
Probably not, really.
But the reason I bring it up is I started to think that there's not many people who've made such a profound difference to their sport. Can you think of many people in sport?
Reginald Bosanquet's grandfather invented the googly.
I mean, that's not quite as fundamental as
No.
everybody now going over a high jump bar in the same way.
Not as fundamental.
Reginald Bosanquet's grandfather inventing the googly is not on the same level. This is a phrase I never thought I'd use.
It's not, I agree.
On national radio or elsewhere as the Fosbury Flop. But it did make me, I went down a bit of a Fosbury Flop rabbit hole. I should have had better things to do this morning. But I thought maybe we'll get Dorton Grant on to talk about it. And we haven't found room for that today, sadly. Unless Dorton's listening, he wants to give us a call. But then I thought, what's Dorton up to today? So I put Dorton Grant into news, Google News.
Yeah.
And it said America's Cup. And I thought, I didn't know Dorton had got into sailing in a big way. So I looked down it. And then I thought, that doesn't look like Dorton.
It might be good. You know, when the thing comes swinging across, he could jump over it. It'd be all right.
Do they call it? Well, they call it the boom. They probably don't, do they? I'm not.
The mainsail.
I'm not a yachting man.
I know. I've only been yotting once.
Anyway, the point is this.
Oh yeah. I was going to tell you my yachting anecdote.
We'll come back to that. Even though I'd spent 5 minutes reading all about Dorton's yachting exploits. I've then found out it's a bloke called Grant Dorton.
That's very unfortunate.
Yeah. He's all over.
He's listening. He can ring in as well.
Grant Dorton
We'll get them both on
is a
at the same
Kiwi
time.
sailor who's been in 5 Whitbread round the world races. So it just struck me there can't be many names that are reversible in the world of sport, are there?
That's true. I can't think of any.
Dorton Grant Dorton. You've got to have a system. Anyway, it doesn't take us very
There's a lot of
far.
people with 2 first names.
Oh yeah, but we don't need
You know,
them.
Moss Sterling.
Well, West Ham are about to sign one, aren't they? Even they're about to sign a goalkeeper with 2 certain John Victor. And all the brilliant Brazilian names that they've got out there, he's really not put his back into that at all. His pair, John Victor.
Not great.
Anyway, we'll kick off talking. So on that front, can you think of any reversible names? talksport.com/8&J. Text to 81089. Tweet to TS8. He's behind you would be on my shirts, says one of the listeners. That's a nice idea. Yes. Can we have Andy's anecdote, please? Andy's yachting anecdote. Is it a long one?
It's really short.
Go on then, go for it.
I've only ever been yachting once in my life.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what I think it's the main brace, isn't it?
No,
the thing that comes across.
Splice the main. Well, this was an old boat. Was it a pirate ship?
What's the thing?
It was
boom?
me, Captain Kidd.
Anyway, the bloke shouted out, "Mind the boom," or whatever it was, and I didn't realise what it was, and it basically knocked me over. But that was it.
I wish I'd seen that.
It was good, yeah.
I know. How old were you?
Oh, not about 25, I suppose.
Well, I would say an early blow to the head would now make an awful lot of sense.
It would.
Yeah, everything's falling into place now, listeners, isn't it? Really, this has been Andy's problem all along. He was hit by the main brace.
It's why I'm never taken up yachting.
Just after they'd, he was keyholed, weren't you? That's right. Yeah, on the pirate ship. Captain Kidd never got on with you, did he? So you get the idea with that.
Yes.
Talksport.com, text 81089, tweet TSH&J to get in touch this afternoon on that and other matters. But let's kick off talking West Ham. Beaten again last night. Not going well for Mr. Barraclough in the dugout at the moment. But is it more than that? Sam Delaney is a seasoned West Ham watcher of probably 40 years standing and a podcaster on the subject as well. So who better? We'll catch up with Sam in a moment, get his take on that. We're here with Toolstation, the award-winning Hawksbee lawnmower range that they're selling at the moment, in-store on app or online. Next stop, Toolstation.
finished at the Stadium Malay. Sunderland 3, West Ham 0. Question marks over Graham Potter.
And put in by Chalobah. It's 5-1. It has transformed into a complete hammer horror show. The boos ring round the London Stadium. They would have been much louder still had 35,000 West Ham United supporters not already been on the tube home. This, a torrid night.
You know, I feel for the supporters. They want more, and we let them down today. We let them down because the goals we gave away were too cheap.
Wolves 3, West Ham United 2, and the crisis continues for West Ham. They've been beaten. 11 goals conceded in 3 games for West Ham United. They may be signing a goalkeeper. I think they need a bit more than that before Monday night.
Yeah, terrible start of the season for West Ham. Even Jared Bowen had a bit of a fallout with some of the fans. I can only guess it was something unpleasant and personal that was said to make him react like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, not good. Let's speak now to broadcaster, journalist, author, West Ham podcaster, U-Irons podcast, friend of the show, Sam Delaney. Hi, Sam.
Hi, Paul. Hi, Andy.
Wow. I mean, look, I suppose it's a simple question, really, in your eyes, and I'm sure you've been chatting a lot about it on the podcast. What's the issue? What's going so badly wrong? It's probably not just one thing, is it?
Yeah, I mean, there's a theme here. Most West Ham fans who see all the games are not really surprised at all about where we find ourselves. It's no surprise because this has been a long time coming over the course of 3 successive managers. You know, I think David Moyes in the early stages of his spell at the club kind of papered over the cracks. We had the emergence of a big star player like Declan Rice. Jared Bowen was probably our last very successful signing. And, you know, and we had a great run under Moyes. But really, for the last sort of year of his tenure, followed by the very short spell that Lopetegui was in charge and now under Potter, the problems have been the same, which has been no strategy and a sort of sense of chaos behind the scenes with a scattergun approach to recruitment. We continually seem to waste money on players that have no sell-on value. All the guys that we bought with the Declan Rice money 2 years ago now seem to be leaving the club either for nothing or a very reduced fee, with the exception of Kudus. But even the Kudus money that we received earlier in the summer, no one quite knows what's happened to that. The only attacker that we've signed to replace him is Callum Wilson on a free. So there are a lot of strange things, and there are a lot of questions about the way in which the club has been managed for many, many years now that have been unanswered. Usually the focus when people look at West Ham and all of our woes is, the fans are demanding or the manager's no good. But the truth is, the one consistent theme has been the person running the club. Now, West Ham generate the 8th highest income and revenue in the Premier League and the 17th highest in the whole world of any football club. We also have the 2nd biggest attendance in the Premier League after Manchester United every home game, right? There's a lot of money comes into this club. We also have 3 billionaires sitting on the board. One of them, David Sullivan, has loaned the club money over the years, but unlike every other Premier League owner, he charges interest on those loans to the club. So he makes money out of it. This summer, we've taken out 2 loans against future television revenue and against our training grounds, which is the only assets we have, because, of course, we flogged our actual stadium a number of years ago. And we're taking out high-interest loans. This is despite the fact we've been in the Premier League for a very long time, benefiting from all the huge TV rights that all the other clubs own. No other club is experiencing this. Certainly no other club with a source of revenue as large as ours. So these are questions that there might be reasonable answers to. You know, I'm not suggesting there's any impropriety going on, but West Ham fans actually for many years, dating right back to David Moyes and possibly even before that, have wanted answers to these questions. Like, why is it that West Ham struggle to make any progress? Or whenever we do take one step forward, we seem to take 2 steps back. That's why we have landed with a Frankenstein squad that seems to be going nowhere. We look like comfortably the worst team in the Premier League this season. And irrespective of whether Potter holds on to his job or not, I think most West Ham fans expect us to go down, which seems preposterous considering the resources that are available.
Sure.
Do you think it's going to be down to somebody like Sean Dyche, a sort of survival specialist, to come in and tighten up defensively? Because that's where the main problem area is.
Although it's interesting, Sam, you've gone immediately to the ballroom, which I appreciate, but it sounds like you have not necessarily sympathy for Graham Potter, but, he's not the first manager to find himself in this situation.
Now, you could go back to ask Sam Allardyce, which was a long time ago. Sam Allardyce has said how difficult it is for anyone, even someone with a strong personality like his, to manage West Ham because of the way that it is run behind the scenes. These are issues that he faced, that Slaven Bilic, that David Moyes faced. David Moyes was the manager who seemed to be able to succeed at times in spite. Him and Sam Allardyce succeeded in spite of the difficulties they faced working with the club ownership. And, Allardyce has been pretty open about that. So I do feel for Potter. By the way, he's not doing himself many favours. His selections have been poor. The team look badly coached and utterly confused at the moment. So, he's not doing himself many favours. But, you're right, Andy, it probably will be a Sean Dyche situation. But I suspect that whoever you bring in to the club is going to experience the same issues eventually, with a bad collection of players, horrible recruitment. It's a club that, for instance, unlike pretty much every other club in the league, doesn't really pay any attention to data or analytics and still kind of has a scattergun, let's see who's available approach to recruitment. That's why we've got the mismatched group of players we currently have. So Potter probably will go sooner rather than later. But whether it's Dyche or anyone else comes in, they're going to be facing the same problems.
I mean, you're right about Frankenstein squad. I look at the West Ham squad and I think you've got good players in there, but not necessarily within the context of that team. I think quite a lot of your players could go off elsewhere to an extent. I know it's early days.
Maybe Aaron Bowen can play for anybody.
Oh, exactly. And maybe Kudus is showing that at the moment, the way he's kind of hit the ground running at Tottenham, is that you've got good players. I always used to like Kilman. I know he gets a lot of stick from West Ham fans now, but within the context of that side, he looks exposed. But that is the issue, isn't it? It's the balance of the team and the squad.
There's similarities between us and Manchester United. Obviously, Manchester United, much bigger club than West Ham. But they've got owners who seem to rack up a lot of debt behind the scenes, a scattergun approach to recruitment, and players that look rubbish when playing for them. But as soon as they leave and play for another club, look fantastic. Right, and that's Kudus. I mean, Paquette's now being linked with Tottenham as well. If he leaves and plays for Tottenham, I think you'll have a great signing on your hands. But for us, he's got like maybe one assist in 43 Premier League games, So these are all players. Kilman, I agree with you on that. There are a lot of players who are talented, but this squad is not right for Potter. It's been assembled by a selection of different directors of football, different coaches, sometimes on the whim of the chairman. We're very often seem to be led easily by, unscrupulous football agents who offer us good deals at the last minute on transfer deadline day. So there's no kind of rhyme or reason to the way in which we recruit players. And of course, Graham Potter is a big systems guy. So he's got this system in mind that he wants to play with. And they even poached his head of recruitment from Chelsea for £1 million. But they haven't really backed either of them. So he hasn't been able to find the players to fit into the system he wants to play. He's stuck with players that were, some of whom were bought by Tim Steidten, some by Lopetegui, some by Moyes.
It's strange.
I think it's a mess. Basically,
it's an absolute mess, and something fundamental needs to change at West Ham. And there are questions to be answered not by Potter or by the players or by the fans, but really by the guy who makes all the decisions. And I don't doubt that he might have some, very enlightening and fair answers to these questions. Problem is, he doesn't often get asked them. And West Ham fans are increasingly frustrated. There's a huge number of West Ham fans didn't renew their season tickets. There are very many West Ham fans, you mentioned Jared Bowen at the moment, who say they feel sorry for Jared Bowen being stuck with us and would understand if he left. I don't think he will, because he's too scared of his father-in-law.
Exactly.
But I'm telling you now, that is the only thing keeping the bloke at West Ham.
That's right.
And I don't think anyone would begrudge him leaving.
No, let's try and keep on his good side, certainly. Sam, always a pleasure. We'll catch up with you soon. Thanks very much.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Sam Delaney there from the Uions West Ham podcast. Yeah.
Recruitment is fun. I mean, Ariola's not a bad keeper in a certain sense, but in our league, he looked like Wayne Sleep in that goal last night. He's so small.
Yeah. Wayne Sleep. Lovely. And a 1, and a 2, and a dive, and a turn, and a kick. Yeah.
Sort of idea.
Now, not for the first time, there's been a bit of a shake-up in the world of grassroots edicts from the FA. And there's quite a long list of them for this season. And one of them is a great idea, but an incredibly sad idea. It's armbands on under-18 referees. That's one of a whole tranche of things that they're bringing in this season. We're going to have a chat with Chris Foy, the former Premier League ref, about how do we arrive at having to wear armbands if you're under 18 to referee a game because of the abuse you get from adults, just to make them check themselves that they're not actually screaming and swearing in the face of a kid. But that's where we've arrived at grassroots football. So we'll be chatting to Chris about that, amongst other things, in a few moments' time.
Former Premier League captain Danny Murphy's told White and Jordan Jarrod Bowen should be leading by example, but Danny understands if Bowen probably took fan criticism personally.
He is probably the one player in that West Ham team over the last few years who you cannot point your finger at for his level of a performance, his dedication to the cause, his work ethic, everything about him. High-quality footballer who they're lucky to have, by the way, because he's a Champions League player.
Bowen's apologised for his touchline spat with supporters following West Ham's League Cup exit at Wolves. Help is on the way, though. Monaco midfielder Songuta Magasa is set for a West Ham medical. We're also told Newcastle are still in talks with Wolves for their striker Jurgen Strand-Larsen. All the latest at talkSPORT.com. Meanwhile, Alexander Isak might actually play some football next week. He's in the Sweden squad to face Slovenia and Kosovo. And Brendan Rodgers admits they just didn't do enough following Celtic's shootout defeat to Kairat Almaty. But he wasn't too harsh on the players either.
I can't fault them. You know, from the first day back, they've been brilliant. Over the course of pre-season, they've given absolutely everything. Domestically, we've started well in the league.
The Hoops miss out on a fourth consecutive Champions League campaign after failing to score a single goal in both legs. Tonight, Rangers aim to overturn a 3-1 deficit in Belgium against Club Brugge. There's more on this at talksport.com.
Good afternoon, Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Bob in Arbroath is among the people that point out when it comes to reversible names, nothing was better than Fulham when they they sold John Collins, brought in Collins John, or did they both play together? They may well have done that.
Yeah, no, I remember that. Good memory there, yeah.
Thank you very much, Bob. And whoever, I didn't put their name on who else sent that in. Anyway, let's turn, as we were saying, to grassroots football and some of the things that are going on this season. Englandfootball.com have just put out a long list of stuff from the FA, an updated set of measures for the 25-26 season to help improve behaviour and combat misconduct in grassroots football. One of them is for under-18 referees given an option to wear a yellow armband with 18 on it. So when an adult maybe starts screaming in a referee's face, they realise they're doing it to a minor. Not that it's right, they should do it to someone over 18, but just anything that we would hope check behaviour. We've had... in Scotland, I think it's a white armband, it's a sponsored white armband. And in Wales, they've been doing it for quite a long time. And apparently it has been happening in some football in this country, because Paul from Fareham Town Youth says it's been happening with us, but sadly it hasn't stopped some coaches and parents forgetting themselves. Chris Foy is a former Premier League referee, and I saw him retweeting this stuff from the FA today, which is why I thought we'd get him on for a chat. Hello, Chris.
Good afternoon, guys.
It's a great idea, but it's a sad indictment of where we're at by the same token, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we all love the beautiful game of football, whether we're playing on grassroots or we're at the top level, you know, in the Premier League. We love our sport. We love the emotion. We enjoy watching people play, but at times people do cross the mark, you know, step over the line with disappointing behaviour, for want of a better expression.
It's not the only thing they're doing at the moment. Cooling off periods, I see the FA are going to have, which is quite interesting. If a referee feels a game is getting too heated or unsafe, the tackles are flying in, wants to just take the heat out of it, they can pause play and send all the players into their own penalty area, and then they'll call the captains and the coaches together in the centre circle to have a bit of a conversation. I mean, what do you make of that as a measure? You think it might help?
Yeah, I think it will. I mean, we chat often, don't we, Paul, about rugby league, and you'll often see referees stop the game, move all the players away and just bring in the captains. I think this is a brand new one. It's innovative, obviously. We won't have seen it before in football, or at least I haven't seen it before in football, where if a game is getting heated, you know, the tackles are flying in, the referee doesn't think it's safe, they're well within the right now to stop the game, ask the respective teams to move to the penalty areas, and then pull the captains and coaches in. And I think it gives everybody a chance just to cool down, let the referee explain what they're about, what they want to do, how they want to control the match, and how they expect the players to play within the framework of the laws. I think that's really, really important. And it gives everybody the opportunity just to draw breath and restart the game based on this, you know, on this short timeout. But when the referee feels that it's okay to start again, you know, after a short interlude, that's what will happen. And hopefully this, as I said, innovative thing will work. And as we say, it's brand new.
It'd be bold for an 18-year-old to do this, though, right?
Yeah.
Because, you know, you're talking about when it's got really heated, it's really heated. So it's not going to be easy.
This is not just for under-18s, this is for all the refs. But I mean, still, yeah, I know what you mean.
I find amazing, Chris, there's been so much publicity about this for years now. I'm talking about 20, 25 years of abuse from the sidelines and abuse of referees, and it never seems to change. It's like people don't realise that, you know, they say it's as if it's, oh yeah, that's everybody else, not me. You know, I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, what you find in football is, you know, you play to, as I said, to the framework of the laws of the game, and sometimes somebody oversteps the mark as a player and it's a yellow or a red card. But touchline behaviour, in the main, I think is pretty good. It's these incidents that we see. I mean, if you look at the body cam experiment from 2023, you know, we were the first FA in England to trial that. 4,000 matches and sort of 8 leagues were covered of it. And the camera was only activated 6 times. So on field, I think that's really, really good. But, you know, sometimes off the field, people do get excited, they get upset, and they do cross that line. And you know, we've really got to work hard with our touchline behaviour, because, you know, everybody's got a duty to protect the image of the game that we all love.
6 times in 4,000 matches for the body cam to be activated, Chris, suggests that it is a deterrent and it's been successful.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think so. I think, again, the FA brought that in. They're being really innovative with that. I think that worked. Even, as I mentioned before, my rugby league stuff, I nipped to my local rugby league club a couple of weeks ago and the ref had the body cam on. And you watch and you go, yeah, it is a real deterrent. And I think that was a massive step forward. We've got the captains only now. We talk about the armbands and we've got the cooling off periods. We're doing anything and everything to try and improve our game, especially the behaviour around it.
Let's just quickly touch on rugby league. You're watching grassroots rugby league, Chris. So are there similar issues in the men's game and the youth game in rugby league?
I think in the main, from the matches I've seen this season, on field's been really, really good. I don't think I've seen a sin bin. Obviously, you get people from time to time on the touchlines getting a little bit excited.
Yeah.
Slightly different, obviously, for rugby league referees. They've got sin bin and march a team forward 10 metres, which we don't have in football. But I think everybody wants to win, and we get competitive. But we just got to be mindful of how we conduct ourselves when we're watching sport.
And one of the other things that's going to continue, Andy, is penalty points for teams that get involved in violent conduct, dissent, threatening behaviour. And last season, 20 teams were effectively booted out of football, or had their sort of wings clipped and were told they're on a final warning. And I mean, league point deductions is happening as well. But I do think the idea of penalty points, faced with the idea of not being able to be a team anymore, hopefully would make people check themselves, Chris.
Listen, if you're going to accumulate so many penalty points and you get removed from the league, then you've got serious disciplinary issues, haven't you?
Yeah.
So you would hope that if you accumulate a couple of points, then something's wrong, and then you would expect the manager of the team or the authorities associated with that club that they would do something about it to ensure that that sort of conduct and that behaviour didn't continue.
Ben, who's a gooner, he says we should roll out to under-18 linesmen. Excuse me. Is that the case? Is it just referees, or are all the officials in? Although often in these games you haven't got official assistant referees. If it tends to might be parents in some cases, or coaches.
Yeah, if you're under 18, you will wear an armband. I saw that last year.
Yeah.
I think it was being trialled and tested on I think it was a North West Counties game up here in the North West.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it looks like, Ben, that will be happening as well, which is good to hear.
What do you make finally, Chris, in the Premier League of ref cam?
Yeah.
It's quite interesting. I find it makes me feel a bit sick. And I'm waiting for, when there's a goal, I'm waiting for the little ref to do a little jump. Celebration.
In some ways, Chris, I don't really see the point of it at the moment. We had a situation in the Newcastle-Liverpool game the other night when they cut to it during a moment when I think it was Konate and Van Dijk were having a word with Simon Hooper. And I thought that's when we want to see it. Because, again, that might check a few players. I mean, I'm not saying they were being abusive. They weren't. They were just asking him a question. But we know that goes on in refereeing, so maybe it could be put to some good at the professional level as well.
Yeah, I think it all comes down to the broadcasters. I think it comes down to the competition as well. I think last season we saw a really good example at Crystal Palace against Manchester United when Jared Gillett was the referee, and a goal was scored, and he actually talked through the process of the goal and why it was a goal, and you could hear the communications from himself and his assistant referee. I think that was really good. Just taking on Andy's point, I think if you've been running around for an hour and a half, Andy, you'd probably feel a little bit sick yourself because you run out of energy.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, definitely.
It's interesting. Rich has been in touch. He said it's not just a UK problem. He said it's worldwide. I run a youth soccer club in Austin, Texas. Here, youth referees have been given a green badge this season to try and prevent the abuse from adult parents and coaches. So we do slightly fear we do it worse than anybody else. But there we are, Austin, Texas. Not a lot better there, Chris.
No, I mean, it's quite interesting. A few years ago, I went over to San Diego to visit my cousin, and his son played football. And there was some unruly behaviour from the touchline. And the referee went over and said, who are you here to watch? And he went, my son's number 10. So he went over and cautioned the player.
Wow.
And he put it on the player for the conduct of the parents on the touchline, which was something I'd never seen before.
Wow.
Which was interesting. But as you say, is it unique to England, to the UK. I don't think it is.
Job Bellingham's dad better watch himself.
Exactly what I was thinking.
Cheers, Chris. Good to talk to you. Thanks very much.
Cheers, fellas. Have a great afternoon.
Yeah,
there we are. There's Chris Foy there, the former Premier League referee.
These are all good things.
They are good things. It's all been done.
Shame
for the
it's
right
necessary, but it is necessary.
They have a behaviour improvement programme. They'll keep running that. So that when my son was playing, we all went along to an FA course as parents, and everybody was told the right way to behave, rewarding positive behaviour. The county FAs are doing that as well. I don't know quite how they do that. Maybe extra points for teams that behave themselves.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, who knows? Anyway, your thoughts on that, if you're involved in grassroots football, what's been working, what hasn't. A lot of you getting in touch off the back of that chat. So talksport.com/H&J, text to 81089 or tweet to TSH&J 03717223344. Jodie Ounsley joins us in a moment. She's in Gladiators. She's Fury in Gladiators.
She's furious.
She's not furious. She's an England rugby player, so she probably won't be furious until we get to the final. But, we'll talk about a Rugby World Cup, have a chat with Jodie. We're going to be chatting to the people from the Guinness World Records later on. It's the 70th anniversary of the Guinness World Records. And there are some sporting ones that are unclaimed, including, and I'm calling this sport, balloon keepy-uppy. Come and be honest. You've had a kids' party.
Everyone's done that.
You've had the kids' party, and there's balloons there, and then a few of the dads go out in the middle. Sweet Georgia Brown or, Mascanada, whatever it is, and they imagine themselves, don't they, as the Brazilian.
A world record would be like at least a day, I reckon.
Well, it would be tough because you'd start to lose your concentration. But anyway, we'll talk to the experts about it. But Jodie has an interesting. She's got her own Guinness World Record, which she will reveal when she chats to us in a few moments' time. We're here with our good friends at Toolstation this summer. You can shop Toolstation and the award-winning Hawksmoor lawnmower range in store, on the app and online. Next stop, Toolstation. Good afternoon, Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. And we're going to talk a bit of gladiators now, amongst other things, and women's rugby. Jodie Ounsley played for England, Exeter Chiefs. These days she's Fury on Gladiators. She's an author. And, and she's got a Guinness World Record, which we'll be coming back to later on. Hi, Jodie.
Are you all right?
Yeah, we're good. We're good. What's it like working on Gladiators? It looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of fun, but absolutely brutal. I think everyone watches it and think, oh, it's a TV show, but it's far from it. So I think my rugby career has really helped me in that sense anyway.
Is it tougher than rugby? Yeah, I was going to ask you.
Sorry, what was that?
Is it tougher than rugby?
It's back to back, so it's a lot of filming days in one space. So it's obviously you get fatigued, but no, nothing's harder than a game of rugby. I've got to admit. I mean, especially at elite level, that's just another level.
You're a martial artist as well, so I'm sure that feeds into some of the stuff you do on Gladiators.
Yeah, defo. I sort of did Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and my dad comes from a MMA and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu background as well. So our Saturday nights was definitely fighting in the garage before Britain's Got Talent started, having the chicken nuggets and that. So, and I have a younger brother, so my household was definitely just kind of, you get stuck in, if you sort of fall down, you've got to get back up and just get on with it. So it definitely helps me in the work I do now in rugby and gladiators. So yeah, and I'm a northern lass as well, so that helps.
Well, that was one of the questions I was going to ask you from Dewsbury. So I'm wondering if you ever played rugby league. It's interesting you went and played Union.
I know, I went straight to Union. It just were by chance. I just went to my local club in Wakefield, Sandal, and just had my first rugby session. Didn't expect anything from it. And from the first game, I was just absolutely hooked. But I definitely know I would love league because I absolutely love the contact. I was a winger, but the contact side of things was my favourite thing. Sometimes I thought, why didn't I try flanker or something like that? So, yeah, if I ever went into league, I just know I would love it for sure.
You also did some work for Channel 4 on the Paralympics because you are deaf. You had cochlear implant as a young child. I mean, how did that sort of feed into your rugby career, sports career? I see you always wore a scrum cap, and I guess that was to protect the implant.
Yeah, I'd never thought I'd even be able to play rugby because people with cochlear implants obviously get advised not to do contact sports. But I'm very much a big believer in there's always a way, you can always adapt. And to be honest, I think my parents just got a bit sick of me always asking if I could try rugby, and they really wanted to support me and find a way where we could sort of allow me to play. So we spoke to lots of specialists and obviously came across a rugby scrum cap, and that helps protect it. But ultimately, it's my decision, and I know it's my responsibility. And I'd rather have all these amazing opportunities and being able to play rugby rather than live out the what ifs and out of fear. But yeah, if I didn't have my scrum cap, I wasn't allowed to play rugby. So it kept me disciplined and it kept me organised. But, you know, even if I had my scrum cap, it was a constant challenge, and, you know, barriers, a team sport and communication is key. So it really allowed me to build my confidence, and I had to be really open and honest with my teammates and the coaching staff, and we just always, you know, tried to find ways to make it a bit easier. But at the end of the day, I loved the sport and I wanted to do the best I could, so anything was worth it in my eyes.
It's interesting you mentioned your original club. I was watching a series of sort of little films that the One Show had done about women rugby players leading up to the World Cup, and all of them, it was universal from Wales, Ireland, Scotland and England, all praised their original club set and their original coaches, because I suppose it isn't really played in schools, so clubs are really important.
Yeah, for sure. That's where everything starts, and they're the people who, you know, have belief in you, and they're building you up to become the player that we all are now. So yeah, for sure, I have nothing but respect for my first club. I was actually there the other week, so it's always nice to go back and see your coaches and just to say how much it's grown as well, because the amount of girls, for example, are in the team now at Sandal, it's just blown my mind, and that's just from how the game's growing, and it's just amazing to see. But yeah, they're the people that you've got to focus on and, you know, have respect for.
You're also an author, aren't you? You've written a book. I saw you being interviewed about that recently. And again, you want to inspire sort of kids to be bold, and because there'll be plenty of barriers, as you said. You didn't let your deafness get in the way of you having a sporting career.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for that, and I feel really passionate about empowering kids, especially, just to be physical and just to be active and embrace the body for what it does, and especially for young girls. I really am big on, embracing being physical, and it's a great thing, and it's trying to change the mindset and perceptions that people may have of female and contact sport. So again, with the Women's Rugby World Cup and everything that's going on, it's just about changing those misconceptions, and I think that's all it needs, really. More people, more eyes, and a new audience on the game is exactly what we need.
Well, the TV figures for England's women's games so far, and the women's games generally, have been fantastic. So maybe we are seeing a bit of a Lionesses boost from that. The people, eyes on women's sport.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously, I think the overall feel has just been completely different. They definitely feel like even this opening games of the World Cup, there feels like there's been a mindset shift, and that is what we need. And, more people are getting on board, the exposure, all the sponsors and brands, and even like Vodafone, they're going really big on trying to change the misconception, because their research showed that everyone who has a negative misconception of women's rugby haven't actually watched it. So funny enough, if you just give it a go and watch it, you might find yourself enjoying it. So I think it's about that, and just changing sort of the mindset that people might have, and just show it in a more of a positive light. But I definitely think with what we're seeing with the Lionesses, it can go in the same way for women's rugby as well, hopefully.
Fingers crossed. Just one final one. So we're talking Guinness World Records later on, and you've got your own record, carrying a sack of coal, I understand. Tell us more.
Yeah. Honestly, if you're around in Yorkshire on Easter Monday, it's been going on for like 60 years. It's a typical event where the actual race, you have a sack of coal, 20 kg for the women, and you run a kilometre uphill. And it's the first one from the pub to Maypole. And obviously, I thought, I've done it since I was a young kid, so I thought I'll try and go for a Guinness World Record, and I did. So that's just a bonus.
Brilliant. Okay, you're in there. Well, there's a few unclaimed records, and we're going to be chatting to them in an hour, so maybe there's a bit more. So what's happening with Gladiators at the moment? Where are you at with that?
Obviously, we fingers crossed the third series is in the can, so lots to look forward to, and there's definitely some big surprises, and it's going to be a good one, so plenty more to come.
Brilliant. Good to talk to you, Jodie. Thanks very much.
Thanks so much.
Jodie Ounsley there, former England rugby player and Fury in Gladiators. Yes, we are going to chat the Guinness World Records people. It was a tough night for Celtic last night. Certainly, if you were listening to the sports bar at 10:05, it was tough for Celtic. Went through the card. Big Alan, who we saw early on, he was getting in the neck from, has anyone seen? Danny McGrain, he went through the card, he did.
Good.
So we're going to be, Rangers got an uphill task tonight, haven't they, really? 3-1 down from the first leg against a side with a bit of a recent European pedigree. So we're chatting to Paul Mitchell, Scottish reporter, ahead of that game, previewing Rangers Brugge tonight. Brian T. Smith joins us to talk American sport, and I'm sure he'll touch on Tay and Travis. He'll be duty bound to. That's all to come.
talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van Range. Score a winning hat-trick of performance, payload and price. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
Good afternoon, I'm Max Scott here with your sports headlines. Former Premier League captain Danny Murphy's told talkSPORT Jarrod Bowen should be leading by example, but understands why he's taken pelters from the fans a bit personally.
He is probably the one player in that West Ham team over the last few years who you cannot point your finger at for his level of a performance, his dedication to the cause, his work ethic, everything about him. High-quality footballer who they're lucky to have, by the way, because he's a Champions League player.
But Simon Jordan wasn't impressed with Bowen's post-match outburst.
Jarrod Bowen should behave himself a little differently, because I understand the passion, but here's the difference between him and a fan is he's a professional footballer paid to be there. The fans are paying to be there and travelling across the country and are irritated by what they're seeing.
Bowen's apologised for it after West Ham's League Cup exit at Wolves. Now, Brendan Rodgers admits missing out on Champions League football with Celtic is tough to take.
I really feel for this, the supporters that travelled all the way to be here. But yeah, we would just have to, as we always do, we have to stick together as a squad and as a team and reflect on this, and then we'll get a huge game at the weekend.
Celtic go to Rangers for the Old Firm this weekend after defeat to Kazakh side Kairat Almaty. And former United defender John O'Shea's told talkSPORT he's baffled by Kobbie Mainoo's lack of game time, but thinks it could be a psychological test from Amorim.
I found it slightly strange that the manager mentioned he's just in competition with Bruno.
I know.
I just found it a little bit strange. Listen, I know he's probably putting a bit of a challenge to him.
talkSPORT understands Mainoo would be willing to leave the club for the right price. More on that at talksport.com.
talkSPORT News.
Nigel Farage appears to have gone back on his promise to include women and children in illegal migrant deportations announced yesterday, and we're being urged to consider switching to fixed deals after a bigger than expected hike in energy bills ahead of the winter.
talkSPORT Weather with QuickFit, your go-to destination for quality tyres from great brands like Continental. Visit your local centre or quickfit.com and book today.
Heavy rain moving north-east across much of the UK with some showers in the south later, some sunny spells as well.
Good afternoon, Paul Hawksbee, Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. We're going to be chatting to our man up in Scotland, Paul Mitchell, a little bit later on. Rangers in action this evening up against Brugge. 3-1 down from the first leg.
They're a decent team as well.
They are a good side. You remember beating Villa last year, didn't they? So a good side. And Celtic beaten last night, and an Old Firm derby at the weekend. I saw Alan earlier on, Mr. Brazil. He's a bit fearful for Celtic at the weekend going to
they'll be fine
Ibrox
against Rangers.
I'm not sure. Anyway, we'll be chatting to Paul about that. Brian T. Smith joins us. The Ryder Cup picks will be made at 4:00 for the USA, and it looks like Keegan Bradley, from what he's been saying cryptically, is going to pick himself as a player as well as captain. There's been quite a few people saying that doesn't sound like a particularly great idea. Many people in the world of golf think it's going to be difficult.
Couldn't work out whether Donald Trump thought it was a good idea or it wasn't. I think
Really?
He didn't think it was a good idea, but it's hard to tell. I also talked to Brian about Trump switching the draw from Vegas to Washington, the World Cup draw. And it's an absolute blow to the local tourist industry in Vegas. It's a disaster.
I went to the last one before '94. I went to the draw in Vegas.
It's a good place for it, isn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the fact that Infantino caved so spectacularly, wasn't it? He just said, "Why don't we have it in Washington instead? Don't forget all the planning and everything."
Yeah, all the hotels,
he just said,
all the events.
"Yes, my liege, leave it with me. I can transfer everything to DC."
It was an interesting moment in the commentary last night. The commentator said in the Wolves-West Ham game, he said, Fer Lopez of Wolves studied English at Stowmarket. Didn't really say what part of it. He said at Stow.
I'll take it that's the school, is it? Was it a private school?
Not the football. It doesn't go anywhere. That's a really old one, isn't it?
When we first started doing this show on Friday nights about 1,000 years ago, we were told about Ron from Stowmarket.
Beelzy told us about it.
Yeah, that's right. Stowmarket. Was it Stowmarket Town? I don't
Newmarket Town, yeah.
But they had an old boy called Ron, who I'm guessing 25 years on, he's probably no longer. Ron, if you're listening, fantastic. And he had a plaintive cry that Billsy recorded for us. It was like something from Oliver, wasn't it?
It was.
Who will buy? He would shout like he just wanted the ball cleared by the defenders. He didn't want any finesse. He just wanted it.
Get rid.
He wanted it.
Basically, get rid.
And he used to go anywhere. And it was beautiful. It was a plaintive cry.
Like Marlene.
It was a bit like that, wasn't it? Ron from Stowmarket, still paying out. Just on we spoke to Chris Foy earlier on about grassroots football and some of the things that are going into place this year around the game. I've had some feedback. Shem's been in touch. Good afternoon, Shem. He said, my second oldest started officiating last season at the age of 16. 6 months in, and one coach confronted him at the end of an under-15s game. Which wasn't pleasant. The said club then also accused him of bias on social media, which was eventually removed. That's bleak, Shem. Not altogether surprising. I'm a referee in Holland, says one of the listeners. Who's it from? I can't read that. Look at that. Very angle for this screen. Yes, they say every Saturday during our game we have a referee supervisor walking the field and removing those who are abusing the young up-and-coming referees, including trainers who are learning their craft. In Holland, there's a zero tolerance to referee abuse, which is very good to hear. And Jack says, and this wasn't always my experience in youth cricket, and I know it wasn't Andy's in adult cricket. He says, I find the measures in football bewildering. I play cricket at county standard, and the respect we show and have for the umpire is absolute. We may not agree with his decisions, but I've never seen violence or verbal abuse towards an umpire. Maybe not towards an umpire, but around cricket, Jack. It
can get edgy.
It can get very edgy. It can get edgy with players, and it can get edgy with parents and people watching from the sidelines. But I do take your point. Generally, the umpires tend not to get abused, do they? Except when you're umpiring, Andy.
Yeah, well,
because you cheat.
Yeah, not only that, I'm not very good. And did you see the proclaimers of the group?
Yeah, not the plumbers.
No, obviously.
Yeah,
have started to sponsor young female footballers playing for Hibernian, Hibs.
Yeah,
I would sponsor 500 girls, but no, they didn't.
Yeah, it didn't really work, did it? That's right. Okay, the Proclaimers, the band.
The Proclaimers, the band. Well, talking of that, actually, I was watching Clive last night, Clive Myrie.
Oh, Clive Myrie. Oh, okay. On first name terms,
well, me and Clive, we are actually.
Do you want to do that? You want to do that a bit later?
I'll do that a bit later if you like, because I think we've got an important guest.
Well, we do, because I was saying earlier on about the Dick Fosbury, the man who gave us the Fosbury Flop and completely changed high jumping as we know it in 1968. He won the gold medal. And completely, no one basically approaches a high jump bar in any other way, do they? Apart from the Fosbury Flop these days, it's become and we were saying, does anybody had such a profound effect?
It used to be the Western Roll, I think, was the original.
Is that what it was called? You remember the Western Roll, Andy?
Yes,
do you?
I do.
Wow.
And when I did high jump at school, it was terrible because we just had sand. There was no proper bit to land.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
It wasn't ideal.
It wasn't. So I was saying earlier on that I thought we could try and get hold of Dorton Grant, and for whatever reason it didn't happen. But I said, if you're listening, Dorton, phone in, and he has. Fine high jumper for us. 3 Olympics he went to. Dorton Grant. Good afternoon, Dorton.
Good afternoon to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much for calling. We do appreciate it.
You're welcome. My phone was blowing up. Dorton, someone wants to get in contact.
I just think it's a really interesting... I'd say I can't think of anybody who has transformed their sport to such an extent. I mean, I don't know. You obviously don't remember the days when you started high jumping. There wasn't.
Oh, you're being very nice to me now. I like it. Come on, give me compliments. Pour it on.
There was no other approach, really, from your point of view. There was no
for me, there was, because I'm nearly 60. I'll be 60 next year. I'm actually making a comeback and trying to break the world record next year for over 60.
Oh, wow.
Started training.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but when I was jumping, you had a straddle. It was straddle, and you had people jumping over 7'7" with a straddle.
Wow.
Yeah, that is, the straddle is a bit like, it is the Western Roll, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cut-off. It's similar, very close to Western Roll.
But once you get good at it, Dawn, and once you're taking it seriously, there is no way you can do anything but the Fosbury Flop, is there?
Well, now, yeah, because I think it's so technical, and lots of people don't want to put that work in what it takes. And even like when you go to a lot of clubs now, that's why we're struggling, like in a team now, to have any team athletes who's competing in Tokyo. You know, because a very hard event. It's kind of not normal going backwards over the ball like that because you can't see and you need your special awareness. But obviously, you keep doing it until you master it and then you become familiar with that technique.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you ever got the chance to meet him. Did you along the way?
I did actually. When I was a board director of London 2012, he came down to a piece with him when it was Olympian. So I met Richard. His name is Richard Douglas Fosbury was his name, but they know him short name Dick Fosbury. So I met him, and I'd say over a few years, formed a friendship. But we knew he passed away in March 2023.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, was he aware of just how important he'd been to the sport? Did he ever sort of talk you through it? I wonder what it was like the first time. He thought, you know what?
I'll try this.
Yeah, he did actually. So I think it was at that time going way back. There's a high jumper from Canada, Deborah Brill. So it's fluid between them, the curve and going over the bar, bendy, arching over it. But I think for him, obviously, the key is taking off on one foot. If it's a double foot takeoff, is illegal. So it's a great idea for him to be innovative to kind of take on that challenge and, win the gold medal. We're not talking about someone with a technique and looking the part, but not performing on that level. So like you said earlier, he won the Olympics in 1968. So, and Javier Sotomayor, in my time of jumping, seeing him actually jump 8 foot. So we know now that is the best technique because no human when it comes to high jump has ever jumped higher using any other technique other than the flop.
No. So this over 60s record, Dawn, when are you going to try and go for that?
Well, when I turned 60, I had a scare this year of blood pressure. I mean, it's funny over the years that since I've been coaching now in all sports, football, boxing, and I used to work with Hamza Saraz as well.
Right.
Worked a lot with Rhian Brewster. I got headhunted from Fulham when I was working just on the sports and the mindset and working in Dagenham Redbridge. And now a lot of players, what comes to me, because there's no athleticism in football, it hasn't moved on. Well, in a lot of sports. So what you do, you go to old school, I say, that's the method, and you add to that. So your experience of, not every top performer or athlete can coach. You have to go and see if you have the skill to coach, because there's a different hat you put away with a lot of patience and trying to build the best out of people and getting that weak link the stronger. And now when you look at sport, it's about athleticism. And when you look at kids this year or this generation, it's entitlement. They know a lot, but not by doing. In our times, we didn't have social media. You don't work on your sixth senses. You're always going to have talent. You're always going to have someone who's going to make the team or surpass things. That's raw talent. But when we're talking about having that conveyor belt of, coaching and passing back through, the skills or what you've learned to help the next generation of sports people, I should say.
We'd love to get you in for a chat about Hamza Shiraz and the work you've done in football. So let's see if we can organise getting you in for a proper chat. In the meantime, are you aware of Grant Dorton, the New Zealand sailor?
I was first aware of him when I competed in, and they got it wrong in 1990, in Auckland, the Commonwealth Games.
Right.
And this sailor called Grant Dorton and Dorton Grant. Yeah.
What are your sailing skills like? I mean,
better than mine.
Yeah.
Well, I've never sailed before in my life.
Yeah.
I take up a challenge. I'm up for a challenge, always up for a challenge now.
Nice one. Well, look, we appreciate you calling in, Dorton, and we really would love to have you come in for a chat and talk about the work you've done in other sports, because Hamza's been in with us before and he's an impressive guy, and I think he's going all the way to the top, so it would be nice to chat to you about that.
Yeah, that's not a problem, definitely.
All the best. Cheers, Dawn.
Thanks for your time. Take care.
Have
a nice day.
Dorton Grant there, the Team GB high jumper.
It's interesting with athletics because, it's been a lull on it. But the other week, a couple of weeks back, the Diamond League meeting at the London Stadium, 80,000 people.
Yeah.
Incredible. So there's still a love for it.
I think there is a bit of an Olympic legacy from 2012. People who really enjoyed their athletics when it was here. So that's great. It's good to hear.
Something to enjoy at the London Stadium. Let's be honest.
Don't kick them while they're down, Andy. It's a cyclical game.
Of course it is.
They may be bought by a state next week, and then they'll be kicking all of our backside. So, a dish best served cold. We're talking Scottish football next, and predominantly the Old Firm, with Celtic knocked out the Champions League last night, and Rangers behind the 8 ball this evening. And we're going to be chatting to Paul Mitchell, who's keeping an eye on the Rangers game for us this evening. And, of course, there is an Old Firm derby this weekend. We're here with Toolstation this summer. Shop Toolstation and the award-winning Hawksbee lawnmower range. In-store, on the app and online. Next stop, Toolstation. Hawksbee, Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Andy Goldstein is with Andy Townsend this afternoon from 4 o'clock with Drive. Now, they were building up and keeping an eye on Celtic in Kazakhstan last night. The result didn't go Celtic's way. They found themselves knocked out after a 0-0 draw against Kairat on pens.
Damage was done at home last week.
Certainly was, yeah. Brendan Rodgers, the Celtic manager, spoke about the disappointment in the defeat.
It was a poor game, I felt. That's just a shame, because last year we made some great strides. You know, I've said before, we had a hint of what we could do at the level. And with the greatest respect, this was a great opportunity for us to be back there. But sadly, we won't be. So plenty of endeavour, plenty of honesty. But the Champions League is a wee bit more than that. This group of players have given everything. You know, we're obviously, we limit it to what we could do in the game. in moments. But like I said, they gave everything. We just couldn't find enough good moments and moments of quality to break through, Michael. And like I say, we have to accept that.
As Andy said, the damage was done last week, which allowed Karat to sort of dig in there and sit deep and make it messy and scrappy. And they got the result. Paul Mitchell's going to be keeping an eye on Rangers in Bruges this evening, and he joins us now. Hello, Paul.
Afternoon, chaps.
I mean, there's interesting. Brendan was also asked during that chat whether it was going to affect any other business they did in the window, and he said at the moment he didn't know. I mean, they had a couple of players lined up coming in from Europe. It's a shame maybe they didn't get them in before they played in these two Champions League games.
Yeah, I mean, the talk up here has been of the fact that Celtic haven't done their business. Now, Celtic are notoriously late in doing their transfer business, but normally you think for the playoff round of the Champions League, you need to get people in, and they haven't done so. And that's what's attracted a lot of the criticism north of the border. You've also got to remember, Celtic have got a lot of money. They were in the Champions League last year. They did particularly well. It's not like Celtic, don't have the cash. And it's all very well winning the Scottish title. It's all very well, competing for the Cups up here. But the Celtic fans want that European experience. And they expected the Celtic board, whether the Celtic board like it or not, to go out and spend some money and strengthen them, not for trying to win the title again in Scotland, but for trying to get out of the league stage of the Champions League.
Do you think they assumed that Celtic would beat this team? I mean, about 200 places above them in the UEFA rankings. It was a bit of a shock.
I think it was a shock. I mean, I remember saying to a friend, Celtic wins 3 or 4-0 at Celtic Park, which they could have done. They can then go and get their business done, because they then can say to players, look, we've got Champions League football. This is what we're looking for. But the alarm bell started to ring last week, and Celtic looked strangely lethargic last night. And Brendan, I think, wanted to bring players in, but wasn't basically given the opportunity to do so. Now, he's in his last year of his contract. Does he want to extend that contract? Does he think that Celtic can't match his ambitions? These are the storylines that are now floating around that the Celtic board could have avoided having floating around if they just, spent a little bit of cash. Because let's be honest, Celtic's an attractive place to come. You will get, you would expect Champions League football if you'd signed for them at the start of August, and perhaps those extra 2 or 3 signings would have pushed them over the line. Celtic Park on a European night in the Champions League is almost unbeatable. It's a wonderful place to be, and that's what the Celtic fans want. And that's the real disappointment you sense from Celtic fans this morning, is the season is not over, but it's spoiled already.
I think the English teams feel the same. I mean, I think Villa really enjoyed playing Celtic last year.
Yeah, I think that
I would have enjoyed meeting them in the Champions League as well.
In some ways, it is a shame that, look, we don't know what's going to happen to Rangers tonight, but as we said, they are behind the 8 ball. They're 3-1 down. They're going away to Bruges, and against a side with a decent pedigree in Europe, and all the form so far has suggested it's going to be something of a miracle for them to get a result tonight, Paul.
They were 3-0 down after 20 minutes at Ibrox, and that was as poor as I've seen Rangers play. They were absolutely taken apart. None of us are experts. You're never sure what a manager's trying to do, whether the manager's messages got on to the players or not. But I was genuinely watching that at Ibrox last week for talkSPORT, thinking, where's Joe Rothwell supposed to be playing? Where's Mo Diamondi supposed to be playing? Where's Max Aarons? What's he trying to do? You try and figure out what a team's doing. And Rangers just looked bereft of ideas. It didn't look like, Bruce couldn't believe their luck. And remember, guys, 2 central defenders scored out of the 3 goals in the first 20 minutes away from home in a Champions League playoff game. That doesn't happen very often. And Bruce, I don't think, could believe their luck.
And with Rangers, Igamani, it looks like he's refusing to play. Russell Martin dripping with sarcasm when he said, I expect him to pass his medical wherever he goes. And it's unfortunate because he is a bloke with goals, isn't he? He's been decent for Rangers.
He's decent, and he's a young man that you would hope would blossom under the right circumstances. Whether he wants... every miss you make as a Rangers striker is analysed and over-analysed. It's not quickly forgotten. Talking to misses last night, doesn't Maida's chance to win it in regulation for Celtic. They'll talk about that for a long time. But between, Danilo, Egeman, Dessers, Rangers have had 3 players who could play up front, but none of those 3 are what you call stick-on goal scorers. They'll all score goals because Rangers create a number of chances, obviously domestically. But when it comes to the big moment in Europe, you're not sure that they're going to do it. Egeman, I think Lille is where he'll end up. But now Rangers have got a problem because they need to bring people in as well.
And we could be in for a pretty low-key, depending on what happens tonight, if it goes the way we expect, it could be a pretty low-key Old Firm derby at Ibrox on Sunday.
I've covered quite a lot of Old Firm games in my time. I cannot think of what would be almost a funereal atmosphere between the two. Celtic are out of the Champions League, Rangers as well. But how about this? How about you turn this round? What if Rangers somehow tonight get a result in Bruges? Say they win 2-0 and get through on penalties, and then they take Rangers out at Ibrox on Sunday. That's the dream scenario for any Rangers fan. But I'm more on the side that Sunday will be a very strange day, and you're at the point where neither team will want to lose because it's just another problem. Russell Martin can't find a win in the league, and Brendan Rodgers cannot really afford to be knocked out the Champions League and then lose to Rangers within a space of 4 or 5 days.
It's hard to believe in such a short space of time, finally, Paul, that Russell Martin's under this level of pressure. But go out tonight and lose potentially at Ibrox to Celtic on Sunday. Do you think they could pull the trigger? Could it happen this quickly?
I think we've now been around football long enough to know that boards will do anything. And I think the reaction will come from the Rangers fans. If they start to call for him to go, as most boards do, they take the easy way out and they'll pull the trigger. Boards need to be stronger. There's a number of clubs up in Scotland that have suffered from, and England as well, let's be honest, of getting rid of managers too quickly. You then get bloated squads, new manager comes in. And you see this from the Rangers squad. Russell Martin is trying to clear out what he considers the deadwood that's been left over. And well, if it so happens that he goes, I think, 6 of the starting players against Club Brugge last week were his signings. So what happens then? At some point, you've got to stick and hope that it changes. But the pressure, should Rangers lose, I think they'll lose tonight, but it's all about the performance.
Yeah.
If they can come away with an acceptable performance, I think the fans would recognise that. But then they've got to give absolutely everything against Celtic. But yeah, Russell Martin conceivably could be out the door. You wouldn't like to see it. I think it's far too quick. But boards do that now.
Sure.
They think they press that big red panic button, and they sometimes just don't see it out for the longer term. And if it doesn't work, so say Russell Martin was to stay in post, get another couple of bad results, he then goes out. Happened to Philippe Clement. He got a couple of good results to provide the stay of execution. And then, many people thought they pulled the trigger on him too late. It's a thankless task being a football manager, and it's a thankless task appointing them.
Thank you, Paul. Hear from you later.
Good point.
Pleasure.
Paul, keep us in touch with Club Brugge versus Rangers this evening. Kicks off at 8 during our 2 commentary games, Grimsby, Manchester United on talkSPORT and Everton, Mansfield on talkSPORT 2. We're going to be chatting about Grimsby, Manchester United with Lloyd Griffith, who's cut short holiday to be there at Blundell Park tonight. So we'll be having a chat with Lloyd later on in the show. But we're talking American sports. And yes, that engagement today with Brian T. Smith, our US sports expert, shortly.
Former Premier League captain Danny Murphy's told White and Jordan Jared Bowen should be leading by example, but Danny understands if Bowen probably took fan criticism personally.
He is probably the one player in that West Ham team over the last few years who you cannot point your finger at for his level of a performance, his dedication to the cause, his work ethic, everything about him. High quality footballer who they're lucky to have, by the way, because he's a Champions League player.
Bowen's apologised for his touchline spat with supporters following West Ham's League Cup exit at Wolves. Help is on the way though. Monaco midfielder Songuta Magasa is set for a West Ham medical. We're also told Newcastle are still in talks with Wolves for their striker Jurgen Strand Larsen. All the latest at talkSPORT.com. Meanwhile, Alexander Isak might actually play some football next week. He's in the Sweden squad to face Slovenia and Kosovo. And Brendan Rodgers admits they just didn't do enough following Celtic's shootout defeat to Kairat Almaty. But he wasn't too harsh on the players either.
I can't fault them. You know, from the first day back, they've been brilliant. Over the course of pre-season, they've given absolutely everything. Domestically, we've started well in the league.
The Hoops miss out on a fourth consecutive Champions League campaign after failing to score a single goal in both legs. Tonight, Rangers aim to overturn a 3-1 deficit in Belgium against Club Brugge. There's more on this at talksport.com.
Good afternoon, Paul Hawksbee, Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Big announcement coming up at 4 o'clock this afternoon. I'm sure the boys in drive. Andy loves his golf. Andy Goldstein, he ought to be keeping an eye on what's going on with the US Ryder Cup team. The big story, of course, is the captain, Keegan Bradley, who looks likely to pick himself as a player.
Got to be a bit of a risk, isn't it?
Well, it's quite a few people. I think Tom Watson among them, counselling against it. Brian T. Smith, US sports experts, popped into CSI. Brian.
It's good to be back, guys. How are you doing?
Yeah, we're good. This is going to be fascinating. I mean, it does sound, all the signs are, he's saying it's going to be controversial. He seems to be setting everybody up to say, yeah, I'm going to play.
It feels like a no-win situation for him, right? He almost has to pick himself because if you go off the official world golf rankings, he's in the top 12. He's one of the best players in the world right now. He's not the best. He's not Scotty Scheffler. He's not Bryson DeChambeau. He's definitely not Rory McIlroy. But he's a very good player who's won eight tournaments before. I don't know who else, he picks other than himself. The problem is the pressure that comes with that, the expectations, the microscope. Here's what should be being asked right now. How come this isn't Tiger Woods making this pick? I mean, the more I research this, and we'll have a story up soon at talksport.com. We have all this covered at TalkSport USA on our social channels. Tiger Woods should be the captain of Team USA, right? He's not doing very much right now, but Tiger Woods backed out because he's too busy with other things. So this falls to Keegan Bradley, and now he basically has to pick himself. He has to play. You've had Rory caution against this. I've seen Nick Faldo say the U.S. is going to get destroyed. This doesn't look good right now, and the problem is it's at Bethpage. It's in New York. This should be a great moment for Team USA to beat Europe in the Ryder Cup and to have Tiger as a captain and Keegan Bradley as a player, and it all works out. And it feels like that's not going to happen because he has to pick himself. That's too much weight for anybody to carry.
Maybe they feel very confident. Maybe, I mean, we know the Americans are very strong at the moment, as you said, at Bethpage with a very strong team. Maybe they feel that, along with his vice captains and his backup team, he can still get over the line.
You know what's interesting? When I was looking at just the best of the best, right? When you look at Scotty Scheffler, who right now is the best golfer in the world and kind of feels like Tiger 2.0. Bryson DeChambeau, when he's not messing around on YouTube or playing, screwing around on LIV, he can be the hottest golfer on the planet. So it's really at the top. I mean, you have Rory versus Scotty. You have, Bryson versus the best of Europe. Top 2, top 3, the USA is fine. I think the problem is depth, and that's where the wild cards come in, which are going to be announced at 4 o'clock. We'll have it all covered at talkSPORT.com, and that's why I do think, though, it is a problem. If you're going to be the captain and you pick yourself, you have to deal with all of the complications that come with that, all the pressure, telling people no, making all these decisions about who is playing when. There's a reason it has not happened since 1963. 1963. JFK was still the president. U.S. hadn't landed on the moon yet. Arnold Palmer was the last person to do that. There's a reason nobody does it. I won't be surprised at all if Europe becomes the first side to win away in 13 years, partly because the U.S. was forced to have a captain and player at the same time.
Because the captain's always dashing about from one hole.
Yeah.
He won't be able to.
I mean, if it's all going well, they'll probably have a cigar on. Although, if suddenly we see it's a tight race, then he'll probably start to feel the effects of trying to do both jobs.
Yeah, and I don't know how he backs out now, because you've had President Donald Trump, who obviously tweets about everything, has already tweeted about it. He's going to be there. He wants Bradley. The President of the United States of America has said that he wants Bradley to pick himself and to play.
Right.
That's a lot of pressure for anybody
I'm surprised
to deal
Donald
with.
Trump has said he's going to play.
I was going to say, shouldn't
card.
Trump just add himself to the Ryder Cup and just get out there and he can lift the trophy, do the whole thing all at once?
Rick Riley would love that. He'd love to see Donald Trump that exposed in the golf tournament, where he couldn't cheat.
That caddy, that thing where he drops the ball.
The ball's falling.
You said it, not me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Now, the big story in American sport today.
The big story.
Is kind of not really a sports story at all, but it's on every front page in the UK as well. It's the engagement of Kansas City Chiefs Travis Kelce.
Speaking of talkSPORT.com, and we've got this covered.
Of course, you have
every level with the size of the engagement ring, how much the engagement ring cost, the details about how this was all planned.
Yeah.
Look, let's peel back the curtain a little. We were chatting during the break, and let's just say it's not a coincidence that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce announced the biggest engagement since. You can speak
it probably would be Harry and Meghan,
or even I would actually go back to Charles and Diana, right? Like that's way bigger. I'd go back all the way back to that.
Come on, bro. That's Prince Albert and Queen Victoria.
Biggest engagement in recent modern U.S. history, right before the start of the NFL season. Like, are you kidding me? This was all planned. And kudos to them.
That's an incredibly cynical view of a beautiful romance, Brian.
I hope it all works. I'm sure it's all going to work out perfectly for them.
Yeah.
And Travis Kelce plays one more year for the Chiefs, and he rides off into the Hollywood sunset.
Yeah. She said about Travis, she said, he's just a vibe booster. In everyone's life he is in, he's like a human exclamation mark. I thought, I'm more of a semicolon.
He does
like a comma or
I sort of, because we obviously look at a lot of American sport. I often check in on his podcast with his brother, and they do come across as good lads.
Yeah.
And he was very good. You talk about Hollywood. He's good in Happy Gilmore too. It was a pretty decent performance.
I thought, well. All right, I'm going to anger some people here. I thought Travis Kelce was the best thing about I thought Happy Gilmore 2 ended up being horrible in the end. It wasn't worth watching the second half. Travis Kelce actually was pretty good in that.
Really, really funny.
I'm amazed. Look, I hope it works out. Having gotten married, almost 10 years ago now, you realize the second you get into that world, that's all it's about, right? So you don't mess around with that. I hope that it works out for them. I'm amazed that it's lasted this long.
Yeah.
And I never thought they were a good fit.
Really?
Yeah.
This has become loose women. Tell us why, Brian. Tell us why, girlfriend.
Travis Kelce's a bit of a jock. Like he's a bit of a dude, bro, jock.
Really?
He's the exact opposite, but opposites can attract, especially in 2025. The fact that they've lasted this long with a spotlight. I mean, they were in London last year at Wembley Stadium. I thought he proposed on stage. I'm very happy for them, and I hope that it lasts in marriage. But the fact that they announced it right before the NFL season was a little too much for me.
Fantastic. I wonder what the stag do's going to be like. Imagine what that'll be like. All the cans. Mahomes there at the bar sounding like
Jason Kelce with his shirt off, chugging beers. That's what Travis Kelce will be doing on his stag.
Yeah, fantastic. Brilliant, Brian. Thank you. As you said, it's all at talksport.com, yes?
All at talksport.com. We have our new social channels at TalkSport USA.
Fantastic. Good to see you.
Cheers,
Thanks
guys.
very much. And I'm sure we'll be checking in with Brian when the NFL season gets underway.
Soon, isn't it?
Yeah, next week?
Kickoff next week.
Yeah.
Chiefs and Chargers in Brazil, the Eagles and the Cowboys. Don't know if Michael Parsons will be there to kick it all off. And it's going to be last 2 years have been big with Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Now they're engaged. It's going to be the biggest NFL season ever. And we'll have everything, of course, covered at talksport.com.
Brilliant. Look forward to it. Thanks very much, Brian. We're going to be chatting to the good people at the Guinness World Record 70th anniversary. It was every Christmas I got the book handed.
Oh,
I think I was still at home.
Staple, isn't it? It's great.
They were at my mum's place for years. The old book, I used to love it. It was sensational. But there are on some unclaimed records, and some of them have a bit of a sporting flavour. So maybe you could enter the Guinness World Records pantheon. We'll tell you how. If you can do excessive keepy-uppy with a balloon, you've got a fighting chance. We're here with our good friends at Toolstation. This summer, shop Toolstation, an award-winning Hawksmoor lawnmower range. In-store, on the app and online. Next stop, Toolstation. Good afternoon, Paul Hawksbee, Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Just a reminder, a choice of live listening tonight for you in the Carabao Cup here on talkSPORT. Grimsby Town versus Manchester United. We'll be chatting to Lloyd Griffith en route to Blundell Park for tonight's game, watching his beloved Grimsby in action. There's going to be a lot of haddocks, inflatable haddocks. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did, yeah. Tremendous.
2,000 have been handed out to the fans. It should be good.
Something for Amorim to blame when it goes wrong.
It was the haddocks.
It was the haddocks.
And that's on talkSPORT. talkSPORT 2, Everton versus Mansfield. The new gaff, it'll be packed. I mean, as we were saying yesterday, normally you would think Everton, Mansfield, if it was at Goodison, you'd have a good crowd, but everybody wants to be in the new place and sample it. So I imagine it'll be a sellout.
Oh, yeah.
Absolute cracker. So that's on talkSPORT 2 for you tonight. Anyway, we turned out the Guinness World Records 70th anniversary. As I said, every Christmas I got the book, the Guinness Book of Records, every year, and would pore over it. But there are unclaimed records, and say one or two of them have a bit of a sporting flavour. Here to discuss whether you've got a fighting chance of getting into next year's is Dave Wilson, records manager and adjudicator at Guinness World Records. Hello, Dave.
Hello, guys. How are you?
Happy 70th birthday.
Yes.
I take it you've
Thank you very much.
You've not, I can see, Dave.
Well,
you're either wearing incredibly well. You weren't there on the first edition of the book, were you?
I'm not sure about these wrinkles behind under my eyes.
It's a great enduring thing, though, isn't it? I suppose because people are always. We spoke to our guest earlier on, didn't we, Jodie, about that. She's broken. She was carrying. Jodie Ounsley was carrying a bag of coal. Uphill, and she's in the Guinness Book of World Records. Everybody wants to beat them, and they have, from time immemorial, haven't they?
Well, there's that thing where people think they're achievable, and it's like, come have a go, be part of it. It's really addictive for our serial Guinness World Record title holders, and it's something that either interests you or inspires you to come have a go. It is enduring. That's the correct word for it.
So the balloon keepy uppy record, apparently, and everybody's messed about with the balloon, done a bit of keepy uppy. That's still up for grabs, I understand.
What's the current record? I'd be interested to know, actually.
What's the current record?
I don't want to catch you out.
Caught me out completely.
I don't think it. I mean, I was reading a little piece today. World Record's still up for grabs, and I think that seems to be the ones that no one has claimed yet. So maybe it's a virgin record. I don't know.
Well, we have lots that are completely unclaimed, and they're just waiting there, ready for people to have a go. They all have minimum requirements, of course, but they're definitely up for grabs. Just somebody who just has that hidden talent or a bit of previous skill can apply it into some Guinness World Record breaking action.
Well, I've got a list here, Andy, and we'll run through it with Dave, and you can tell me any of these, Andy, you think you might be able to break.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Fastest time to clear a game of hungry hippos by a team of two.
No.
I mean, we'd be rubbish at that.
No, definitely not.
Think we haven't got the hand-eye. Fastest time to make a pasta necklace. Under 16s, that is, but you can't be in that. I'm sorry, Andy.
I could cook one.
Okay, fair enough.
Thanks.
Most anchovies eaten in 1 minute. Would you fancy that?
No, thanks.
Wow.
I read somebody who tried it and they said it was revolting. On
depends
social
how much
media.
you like anchovies, really. Most whoopee cushions sat on in 1 minute. That would be fun. We should try. We should try a talkSPORT record.
I want to ask Dave, if say, for example, that record, you want to break the whoopee cushion record, what do people have to do? Do they have to alert you before they try it? Do they have to get witnesses? Because I mean, the criteria is quite strict, isn't it?
Well, it's got to be strict, otherwise we can't be handing out Guinness World Record titles to everybody.
No.
But they make an application online, and then we send all the rules and regulations, the guidelines, and then you make your attempt, and you can send the evidence to us. One of our team will review it, and then hopefully award a Guinness World Records title.
Yeah.
It's as easy as that.
That's great.
Yeah. Colin Furze is pictured here with the fastest pram. I don't know what sort of motor he put on the pram. Andy, I could see you doing that. Just, But have you ever attempted one yourself? If to get the job, Dave, do you have to attempt a world record?
I don't know if many people know this, but there's no insider trading. If you work for Guinness World Records, you can't officially hold a Guinness World Records title.
Really?
I think I've got a few in my back pocket, but right now I can't even make an attempt.
It must be a
number of job applications you made before you got the job.
I was reading a piece with your colleague Craig Glenday's been with Guinness for a long time. He's the editor-in-chief of the book. And, I mean, what a life he's led. There's a book in it. I'm sure, what a fun job. How do you become records manager and adjudicator, Dave? It sounds like a great job.
As boring as it sounds, I saw the application online and just was like, I think that's my dream job. So I jumped at the chance, and I've been here 5 years now, and I'm loving every minute. And
do you get to travel around the world? Because we know that it's Guinness World Records are big everywhere in the world.
Yeah, well, we have adjudicators everywhere and offices all over the world. I've done a bit of travelling, but I've been probably Dublin is the furthest I've been.
Oh, okay. Well, I think we can remedy that. What's the best one you've adjudicated on? What was your favourite one?
I did most kick-ups by a football mascot with West Ham mascot achieving that Guinness World Records title.
Is he Harry the Hammer?
Harry the Hammer. Yeah.
So how many did he do?
He did. Did he do 17? He did 17 in 30 seconds.
That's still pretty good.
More than Fulcrum could do.
He had to have the big shoes on, so it's not like he's just wearing football boots. It was quite a feat.
Nicholas Fulcrum got 16. Yeah. Wow.
I'm going to try squeeze in one of my favourite records, if that's okay.
Yeah, of course you can. Yeah.
Heaviest goalkeeper was Willie Henry Falk, who weighed 165 kilograms and played for Bradford City.
And for Chelsea. Fatty, you've known him. You couldn't call him that now because it's going to be politically acceptable.
He was called
Fatty Fuchs.
They called him Fatty Fulks. That's what I mean. In less enlightened times, that's what they would have called him.
Nicknamed Colossus rather than Fatty.
Oh,
I think that was his other nickname. But I think trying to squeeze in a bit of Bradford City there.
Is he? I don't know. I mean, is he Harry the Hammer? I'm looking now. Is he Herbie the Hammer? I don't know. I'm not quite sure.
He could be Herbie the Hammer.
He's something the Hammer. But anyway, I'd say that's pretty tidy.
It is. The blue one. No one's ever tried the blue one because that does seem
a balloon. It would be a bit. I mean, it would be every bit as tiring, wouldn't it? Wouldn't be probably as hard.
But if nobody's ever done it, you could just do it. Whatever you do is going to be a world.
That's the point. If someone wants to break, is there a minimum requirement, Dave? Finally, we won't get. We're asking you daft questions. We do apologise. But if you said I want to break the balloon keepy uppy record, and you do 6, that doesn't make you the world record holder for balloon keepy uppy. There has to be some sort of
Unfortunately, no. All of our records have a minimum requirement just to make sure, like for that reason, you don't just do one and go, I'm the record holder.
Yeah, exactly. It's a waste of everybody's time, isn't it?
And I've got to watch people do 1 and then 2 and then 3. So we put a fair minimum on that's achievable but also impressive, and that's researched and compared to other record titles. And we get some amazing action by people surpassing minimum requirements and achieving Guinness World Record titles.
Brilliant. Well, here's to another 70 years, Dave. Thanks for. I'm sure you'll be retired. You'll be retired by then, Dave. But all the best. Thanks very much.
I don't think they'll let me now. They said it'll be that guy who were on Hawksbee and Jacobs.
Longest time in the job.
Longest time in the job, Dave Wilson. That's right. Brilliant.
Thank you so
Dave.
much, guys.
Take care. All the best.
Pleasure.
There we are, Dave Wilson there from Guinness World Records. And if you've broken one or if you've attempted one, feel free to let us know.
Oh, yeah.
In the next hour of the show. Have you seen Mumtaz Barshim hurdling a high jump in a warm-up, says Malky. It's on YouTube. Malky, I went and just checked it out. Amazing. He did. I mean, we were talking to Dorton Grant earlier on about the Fosbury flop. But yeah, he's a Qatari athlete. And he
good
does.
At corners, wouldn't he?
He'd
be good at corners.
Yeah, he would be. 6'4" high bar. He just sort of hurdles it. Yeah, it's quite amazing. Malky, thanks for the tip off. It's Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Lots more to come in the final hour. We'll have a Paddy's challenge. Ollie Clink's going to join us for that as our quiz master. We'll have all the latest transfer news. Harvey Elliott to Palace is getting a bit of traction. That feels like a good fit. But Harvey Elliott feels like a good fit for quite a few teams.
He's a good player.
And there was a little bit of talk early in the window about him. It seems to have gone a bit quiet. I don't know whether... I mean, he wants game time. Maybe Arne Slot said he's still going to get game time. I don't know. That will be one of the ones we'll be covering today. And Lloyd Griffith joins us en route to Blundell Park for Grimsby Town versus Manchester United in the Carabao Cup, a game you can hear on talkSPORT this evening.
taking it
Sports
personally.
Update powered by the Nissan Van Range. Commercial vehicles that go the distance for your business. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
Good afternoon, I'm Max Scott here with your sports headlines. Jarrod Bowen's apologised after confronting a West Ham fan following their Carabao Cup exit to Wolves last night. But talkSPORT's Danny Murphy says that of all the West Ham players, Bowen is the only one that can't be criticised.
He's probably taking it personally, which happens when you're passionate in the middle of a game. They actually were the better team first half. I didn't see the second half, I only saw the first half. But they've got real problems because defensively they're all over the place.
The club are looking to bring in some players. We understand they're proposing a loan deal with an obligation to buy for Botafogo's John Victor. Meanwhile, there's uproar for many Manchester United fans at the idea Hawksbee Mainoo could leave the club. talkSPORT understands Mainoo would consider leaving if United receive a suitable offer. And five-time league winner with United, John O'Shea, is baffled that he's not getting any game time under Amorim.
He's a quality player. United cannot afford to be losing him or selling him for any reason whatsoever. He's definitely, I hope, part of the future of the club that's going to be successful, without a doubt.
Mainoo could feature tonight in the League Cup away at Grimsby, which you can listen to live on talkSPORT. And despite their shock Champions League exit at the hands of Kazakh side Kairat Almaty, Brendan Rodgers had this to say about his players.
I can't fault them. From the first day back, they've been brilliant. Over the course of pre-season, they've given absolutely everything. Domestically, we've started well in the league. You still need that little bit of extra finesse.
Celtic failed to score a goal in 210 minutes of football played across both legs, losing on penalties last night.
talkSPORT News.
Nigel Farage insists deporting women and children isn't part of any discussion at this stage under his immigration plan. And the advice from experts today is, if you can, move to a fixed energy tariff.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. With a huge range of premium brands available, we've got what you need to drive away happy every time. Visit your local centre or quickfit.com and book today.
Heavy rain moving northeast across much of the UK with some showers in the south later, some sunny spells as well.
Good afternoon, Paul Hawksbee and Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Lloyd Griffith joins us a little bit later on. We're going to be looking ahead to the...
There's two people who look like Lloyd Griffith in this house.
Yeah, that's it. Yes, Ollie Clink does have a look at Lloyd, doesn't he? I think that's very true. Lloyd is a comedian, an actor, friend of the show, and big Grimsby fan. So he's off to the mat. So he cut short a holiday to go at the game tonight against Manchester United. Big historic game. And we'll bring it to you live on talkSPORT. Ian Danter's been in touch, or only Ian Danter. He broke a world record, he tells me. He's doing the Everton game tonight at the new place, so that'll be a lot of fun.
A drumming record?
Yeah. He said, I'm pretty sure I still hold the world record along with 596 other drummers in Manchester back in 2012 for playing a beat at the same time together in a massive event in the city. So, I mean, imagine if you were that one drummer who was just off. Imagine that. The ignominy. Well done, Dance. I'm sure you were right on the button. He's back tonight. Back tonight from Everton's new gaff against Mansfield on talkSPORT 2. But now it is time for Paddy's Challenge.
Paddy's Challenge on talkSPORT with Hawksbee and Jacobs. What critics are calling one of the many radio quiz segments happening this week. Paddy Power. 18+ BeGambleAware.org.
Yes, time now for Paddy's Challenge, our quiz for charity in association with our friends and official betting partner, Paddy Power. In Paddy's Challenge, we put our knowledge of the wonderful world of sport to the test with a chance of raising lots of cash for our nominated charities. Once again, I'm playing for the Sporting Memories Network and raising funds for Duchenne UK. Helping to manage proceedings and ensure fair play is our guest quizmaster. In for Ben Fletcher, it is one of our fine commentators here, Ollie Clink. Good afternoon, Ollie. Good to see you.
Good afternoon, guys. How you doing?
Yeah, we're not too bad, Ollie. Not too bad.
So, as you know, in Paddy's Challenge, you'll be asked 3 multiple choice questions, usually posed by the voice
of Paddy Power, Alistair McGowan, but he's away this week, probably sunning himself somewhere. So I'll be doing the honours.
Okay.
The winner will be
man Fletcher away. Thanks.
Yes, maybe they've gone away together. Maybe they're both sitting there doing impressions.
That's a very good point, actually.
The winner will be the player that scores the most points, and in the event of a tie, you will both win the chance to raise some cash for your charities. Andy won last week and backed last Monday's Premier League match between Liverpool and Newcastle to end in a draw. You were close, Andy.
That was close.
That makes it even worse.
I was there on the night. But you can probably hear my voice has gone a bit.
Oh, yeah. Ollie's a Newcastle fan.
I spent most of it booing the referee for no apparent reason. So I lost my voice. On the night, Liverpool's wonder kid Rio Ngamoa scored a winner in the 100th minute of the match, way past his bedtime. So the final score was 3-2. So no win there. Let's see if we can raise more cash for your charities this week. There has been a virtual coin toss.
Of course there has, yeah.
And it is Andy to go first.
Okay, marvellous. Here we go then, Ollie.
If we are good to go. Question 1, Andy. Tommy Fleetwood finally claimed his maiden PGA Tour title, winning the 2025 FedEx Cup last weekend. How many attempts at a PGA title win did he have in his career before this one? Was it A, 193, B, 183, or C, 163?
I thought I was thinking of something like about 44 attempts on the American circuit, so I have absolutely no idea. I was expecting 44 to come up. Read those numbers again.
A, 193, B, 183, C, 163.
D, 44.
163.
1 point to Andy.
Oh, well, after all that, he got it right. I actually knew that, which is very annoying.
Did you?
I read it. I just read it on Monday,
He was a 6-time runner-up, and he had 44 top 10 finishes.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
That's what it was, yeah.
So, that was lucky, wasn't it? 44.
Very lucky, actually.
Yeah.
In fact.
Okay, Paul, your first question. In the first round of the US Open, 45-year-old Venus Williams put up a spirited 3-set performance in defeat to Karolina Muchova and became the third oldest woman to play in the event in the Open era. How many Grand Slams, though, has she won? Wow. Is it A, 8, B, 7, or C, 6?
I'm tempted to go middle diddle, but I'm going to choose such a great player. I'm going to go 8.
Oh dear.
I would have gone 8 as well.
Yeah, it is B7.
Oh,
should have gone down the middle, Paul. Using her height to generate power, Williams changed the face of the WTA Tour with her aggressive first strike tennis.
Okay.
There you go. Okay, Andy, your next question. In the Women's Rugby World Cup, England recorded an opening statement 69-7 win against the USA, scoring how many tries? Was it A, 9, B, 10, or C, 11?
What was the final score?
69-7, yeah, a bit of maths. Work it out.
His maths is terrible. We'll be here till next Wednesday. What was the score? The middle one. It's great, isn't it? What's the point?
So you're going for 10?
10.
It was 11.
11.
Oh.
Yeah. Out there. Yeah, the Red Roses play Samoa next this coming Saturday. Close enough, though.
Yeah.
Not quite Carol Vorderman, Andy. There.
Closer than the game.
Right, you're still in the lead, though, Andy.
You are indeed.
Yeah.
Right. Paul, your next question, number 2. Frank Lampard's Coventry gave him his 20th win in charge last weekend with a 7-1 win over QPR. Absolute thumping. It equals his best performance ever as a manager when Chelsea beat which team with the same scoreline back in 2019? Was it A, Grimsby Town, B, Huddersfield, or C, Watford?
7-1. They beat Watford 7-1, didn't they? Watford.
Oh dear,
no, really?
Grimsby.
It was Grimsby.
Was it Grimsby?
Andy, a victim of the virtual coin toss, I think, there, because that would have gone down nicely.
Yeah, that was. What was? Do you remember? Were you there, Andy? Was it at Grimsby?
I do remember it, but I can't.
Yeah, I seem to remember. Okay, maybe.
My twin Lloyd probably remembers it.
Yeah, Lloyd, you won't want to talk about it. So, I've got to get the last one. If you get this one, you've won, Andy, haven't you?
Okay, here we go then. Andy, in cycling, which contender for the Vuelta España's team had their bikes nicked from the team van last weekend?
I read about this, yeah.
Was it A, Jonas Vingegaard, B, David Gaudu, or C, Mads Pedersen?
It was Vingegaard, wasn't it?
Pick that one out.
Oh, he stuffed me.
Well done, Andy. There we go.
David Gow wouldn't be it.
Mads Pedersen, I'm pretty sure he played for Birmingham, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Fortunately, they did have a spare bike to give him, by the way.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It sounds a bit like how Alan would say Vinegar Yard, which is down the road from us.
I was just down in the Vingegaard last week. He was in early.
I had my bike nicked.
Yeah, he looked in fine.
Alan hasn't got a bike.
Okay, playing for Pride then, Paul.
Oh, yeah.
The last one. Petra Kvitova bid an emotional farewell to tennis as she ended her illustrious career with a first-round defeat to France's Diane Parry at the US Open. How many times did she win the Wimbledon ladies singles title? Is it A, twice, B, once, or C, 3 times?
Why does everybody think I'm an expert on women's tennis? It's slightly loaded into women's tennis. This
really.
Even Gigi Salmon might struggle with some of these. I thought she only won it once, but I'll go twice.
1 out of 3.
Oh, okay.
Chin up.
Oh, there we are.
There we go. One back for
Better
Paul.
than now.
Yeah, Kvitova triumphed at the All England Club in 2011 and 2014 and claimed a total of 31 WTA Tour titles. So there we go.
Brilliant. Okay.
Andy is the winner. Congratulations. You have won a free £20 bet that Paddy Power will place for you, so you can try and win some cash for your charity. Very close last time, Andy. So what are you going to go for?
I think Benjamin Sesko will get off the mark tonight for this new club any time, to score at any time.
That's a good bet, Andy. I think that's a good
bet.
be a
Yeah, could be in a 7-1 defeat.
Yeah, it could be. It could be a Paddy's Challenge question of the future.
All right, we'll see how you get on and reveal the winnings next week.
I think the question will be on which night after a 7-1 defeat did Ruben Amorim lose his job as Manchester United? Was it A? So there we are. Thank you, Ollie. Thanks for stepping in.
Thanks very much.
Commiserations on Monday. It was a good performance by your boys. You come out of a lot of credit, but as I was saying yesterday, you picked up injuries, the suspension to Gordon. It was a costly old night, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
But in terms of togetherness and the way they played, Guimaraes was fabulous, wasn't
It's one of the best individual performances I've seen from one of our players. Bruno Guimaraes was amazing. Livramento was brilliant. Dan Byrne was brilliant. And I still can't quite believe we lost, to be honest, even with the 10 men. But yeah, there we go.
It was
signs of good things to come, and hopefully they get a striker over the line. Or get a striking striker to come and play.
Stick around because we're going to get Crookie on in a minute. We'll see. It was interesting what Vitor Pereira was saying last night. He said anything can happen in football. Everyone's got a price. So if Newcastle come back for Strand Larsen, and he didn't do himself any damage last night with those goals.
It's such a big move for him because he'd be instantly playing Champions League football. You can see why he'd fancy it.
Yeah. I mean,
disastrous for Wolves, though.
You kind of sense Newcastle will probably have to overpay a bit for him if they're going to get him over.
Yeah, they've added a few million last night.
Exactly. So anyway, we'll ask Crookie about that. Thanks very much.
No problem.
Cheers, Ollie.
Good.
That's Ollie Klink there, and that was this week's challenge in the book. Thanks to our friends at Paddy Power. 18+, begambleaware.org.
Paddy's Challenge on talkSPORT with Paddy Power. 18+, begambleaware.org.
It is time then to talk transfers. Andy's already started, even though he's
I'm
kind
just
of
reading Crookie's list.
Yeah. Well, no, we did touch on this yesterday. Let's get Alex Crook, our chief football correspondent, involved as we count down to the closing of the window. Hi, Crookie.
Good afternoon. Not long now. We're on the home straight, aren't we?
Yeah, that's it. I think it's feels a bit calm before the storm, this. It's been a relatively quiet day, but there's still plenty to talk about.
Yeah, Monday's going to be mad.
Yeah, we mentioned this yesterday, Vlahovic. Once again, he's being sort of hawked round. Newcastle, a possibility. I mean, what are the chances?
Not high, I don't think, at this moment in time, but he is a player who's certainly been offered to Newcastle. Obviously, clubs and agents across Europe are aware of a pretty desperate striker situation now for Newcastle, particularly with Anthony Gordon's red card the other night. Looks like Will Osuna will probably lead the line at Leeds this weekend, but I think the feeling at St James's Park amongst the hierarchy there is that maybe he's still a bit raw. 30 million euros is the fee that Juventus are willing to sell Vlahovic for. But I think the fact Newcastle aren't biting, and seemingly nor is anyone else in the Premier League, tells its own story, because this is a player who gets offered around to Premier League clubs every transfer window, and the move never quite seems to happen, does it? You have to ask why that is.
Yeah, but the Alex Isak and the Strand Larsen thing, it's just one big game of poker, as are many, many deals, really, isn't it? It's who's going to crack first with these deals, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think what we're seeing this transfer window, maybe unlike any that I've really worked in before, is the number of sort of domino deals. So if Newcastle do manage to prize Jørgen Strand Larsen away from Wolves, and they do get Johan Wissa out of Brentford, obviously those two clubs are going to need to find replacements. They'll probably end up paying over the odds for those said replacements. And then it potentially opens up the door for Alexander Isak to make that dream move to Liverpool. I think what's quite interesting when it comes to Liverpool, I'm not hearing too many other names on their radar in terms of that number 9 position. And they do look a little bit light in that area, obviously having allowed Darwin Núñez to leave and Diaz as well. So I think there is pressure to bring someone in. The fact that we're not hearing a different name for Liverpool every day, they're very much focused, it seems, on Alexander Isak. There must be a confidence at Anfield that Newcastle will buckle eventually and they'll get their man.
You see, they've got goals, Liverpool, in them. We saw that the other night, but there's so much other things that aren't quite right about the team. And, it's interesting that seems to be the area they...
You wonder if Gay should be the focus and maybe not Isak.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he's really struggling, Canati, isn't he?
The comments I've just sent to Ollie Klink, Alex, the Vita Pereira's comments last night about Strand Larsen didn't completely close the door. Everybody has their price, he said. I think they've offered 50. What do you think it would take to prize him away from Wolves? Because they obviously don't want to sell, but it depends if the player's head has been turned, and we've seen the effect that can have on a player all this summer, haven't we?
Yeah, I think the second offer that was rejected last night was 55 million. I wrote a piece, I think, in last week's notebook on the talkSPORT website saying it would take at least 60 million to even tempt them to change their not-for-sale stance. I think the nearer we get to the deadline, maybe you're talking even higher than that. The messages coming out of Molineux are that he won't be sold. But you say, I found that Pereira interview quite interesting as well. Now, he could just be hedging his bets because obviously he's been involved in football for a long time. He knows that things can change. But when you say every player has their price, that does leave the door ajar for Newcastle. And normally you wouldn't get yourselves into a situation where you've made two very substantial offers. And I think there is an argument to be made that maybe they're going to end up paying over the odds for Strand Larsen if they do get him, without significant encouragement from the players' camp. So clearly he would like to make this move. He doesn't seem the type of character who's going to down tools and follow the Isak, Johan Wissa playbook. But I think it is a problem for Wolves because they've already lost Matheus Cunha. They lost Ryan Aït-Nouri for a fee that I still think was very low. And they let Nelson Semedo go on a free transfer. So you're talking now, if Larsen goes as well, that's probably their 4 best players from last season.
I think they lost the head of recruitment, actually. The chap we met at Cheltenham, he's joined Palace. He's a very interesting man. Kobbie Mainoo, though, that's the guy. As a Manchester United fan, can you believe this with Kobbie Mainoo? I mean, it seems mad that they'd want this boy to go. He's got a real prospect, isn't he?
I think so. I was the one during the European Championships crying out for him to be given a role in that number 6 position when Trent was playing there, and then Conor Gallagher came in for half a game, and obviously Kobbie did eventually get the nod from Gareth Southgate and ended up starting the European Championship final. I think he's got bags of talent. You know, I love I love his engine. I love the footwork. Yes, maybe defensively he's got a lot to learn. Maybe the accusation from Ruben Amorim that he switches off during games is valid. But this is an academy player. This is what Manchester United is all about. The class of 92, the Busby Babes, the long run of always having someone who's come through the academy, at least part of the matchday squad. I think it's a really bad look if they ended up cashing in on Kobbie Mainoo. And I think most Manchester United fans feel the same. But equally, I can understand why he's exploring his options, because he's not played a single minute in the Premier League this season. You had Mason Mount and Bruno Fernandes, 2 number 10s playing as number 6s for a time in that game against Fulham at the weekend. All the time, Kobbie has sat on the bench with his feet up, looking very disgruntled. So I think this is a bad look on Ruben Amorim if the move happens. I don't think they'll loan him out. He's on relatively minimal wages, which is another part of the conversation. He's been trying to get himself a pay rise and a new contract for some time. So there's no real bonus to Manchester United loaning him out, because they're not really saving much in terms of wages. So I think it would take a significant offer. And I feel from Kobbie's point of view, maybe it's too late in the window to get that move. But the fact he's even agitating for it, I think is a problem.
So no offers, as far as you know. Has he been linked with any particular team?
Well, there's talk of Bayern Munich over in Germany, but I spoke to Kevin Hatchard, our German football expert, about that. He thinks they're well stocked in midfield. Real Madrid have been mentioned, but again, I'm not sure there's huge substance to that. I know Newcastle and Eddie Howe are long-term admirers, and Chelsea will always look to exploit a gap in the market when a young player becomes available, maybe for a knockdown fee. So I think there is interest, but at the moment, I don't think any firm offers have been received by Manchester United. And as I say, this feels a difficult deal to do with less than a week to go before the window closes. And I think Manchester United fans will be quite happy with that. I've not spoken to anybody who wants Kobbie Mainoo to leave.
Harvey Elliott's an interesting one. He said more or less I think it was during the tour, wasn't it? Just after the season, that he may have to move on to get game time. It's gone a bit quiet since, but there's a lot of talk at Palace, and with Eza gone, and there is a bit of swagger about Harvey Elliott. That feels like a good fit, but again, I'm surprised more clubs have not been in the picture.
He fits the profile, doesn't he? I think maybe part of the issue is that Liverpool have put quite a big price tag on his head on the back of that European Under-21 Championship, when he was really the driving force behind England winning the tournament. I think it would take a bid of £40 to £45 million. We know that Steve Parish, for one, is quite a ruthless businessman. He doesn't usually like to pay inflated fees. RB Leipzig is an interesting one, because you've got the Jurgen Klopp connection there as well. Obviously, he's now sort of overlord for the whole Red Bull sports franchise, and we know he's a big admirer of Harvey Elliott. And I keep wondering if Fulham might try and get him back there as well. I know he gets a bit of stick from the fans whenever he plays there because of the way he left the club, but I'm sure they'd quickly forget that if he re-signed and came in and made an impact. I think someone will probably push the button on Harvey Elliott between now and 7 o'clock on Monday when the window closes.
What about Nicholas Jackson? What's the latest on that? Is there some links to Bayern?
Bayern, isn't it?
Yeah, Bayern, Villa, Newcastle, 3 clubs who are all paying close attention to Nicholas Jackson. And my colleague Ben Jackson was Ben Jacobs was reporting
those Jackson
today.
boys. Yeah.
They get everywhere.
Yeah.
He was reporting earlier today that maybe Chelsea are at the stage now where they would accept a substantial loan fee in the region of £10 million with an obligation to buy, because I think it's pretty clear that he's not really got a future. He's obviously not been picked by Enzo Maresca because they expect him to leave. And you don't want unhappy players hanging about. And Chelsea have got a few of those. Raheem Sterling, I think there's every chance that he goes maybe to Fulham. That link certainly wasn't played down to me at the weekend. I think he would fancy linking out with Marco Silva. Very quiet on Ben Chilwell at the moment, which surprises me, because as he showed at Palace last year, I think there's a lot of clubs lower down the food chain where he could come in, and that Premier League know-how that he has could prove invaluable.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there are definitely quite a lot of outgoings, and that will depend on, whether they get anybody in. The interesting thing with Jackson, though, is that if Newcastle and Villa actually paid money for him, they'd get him. Whereas if they're all trying to get him on loan, Chelsea would probably much rather loan him to Bayern Munich, get him out of the league.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's a good shout. Yeah, they're not going to want to strengthen a team they perceive to be a Premier League rival. The other Chelsea player that has been on Bayern's list for some time now is Christopher Nkunku, but again, it all seems rather quiet with him. I think we're going to get quite a frantic end to the window with clubs like Chelsea trying to offload their players, teams like Fulham and Palace who've kept their powder relatively dry so far, looking to bring players in to appease their managers. And both Marco Silva and Oliver Glasner have spoken about the fact they don't feel their squad is strong enough. And then obviously you've got the big stories. You mentioned him there, Alejandro Garnacho. I do expect him to end up at Chelsea, but at the moment the clubs are still some way apart in terms of the transfer fee. Isak, does he stay or go? Strand Larsen the same. Johan Wisser. I spoke to Keith Andrews last night after the Bournemouth game. Good win for them in the Cup. 2 wins in 4 days now for Keith Andrews, just to silence some of the noise around him. And he said, look, I want him to stay. He scored 19 goals last season. It won't be a problem reintegrating him into the squad. The problem will be if we get to the final day of the window and he's no longer a Brentford player. But he did also say, I've not got my head in the clouds. So similar to Pereira, doesn't want to lose him, but the door's not completely shut.
Just a real quick one before we let you go. This John Victor story for West Ham from Botafogo. I mean, just try and cheer the West Ham fans up today, as it seems that could be back on.
Yeah, I don't know how much this will cheer Graham Potter up, because it was him and his recruitment team that wanted Mads Hermansen after David Sullivan had previously agreed a deal for John Victor. He was ready to board a private jet and fly over for a medical and basically was stranded at the airport. Hermansen's come in, £18 million. He's not looked great in the first 2 games. I think West Ham fans would say that's an understatement. He's conceded 8 goals already. And now Sullivan is trying to reignite the deal for Victor. It will be a loan deal with an obligation at the end of the season if he plays 25 Premier League games. I just wonder if this is a power struggle that Graham Potter, who's already under pressure, is going to come down on the wrong side of.
Interesting. Thanks, Alex. Thanks very much. We'll catch up with you later in the week.
Cheers, guys.
Alex Crook there, Chief Football Correspondent. Yeah, you wonder if this 7 o'clock closure of the window is going to make any difference to the sort of KB scramble we always get. I suppose there would just be a lot of mayhem earlier in the day.
Yeah.
We'll be with you from 1.
Yeah, that could be good for us.
The window will close with Andy and Darren at 7 o'clock, and Alex will be alongside Jim White and Danny Murphy and a host of others to pour over the window, because deals will still be getting done. We'll be finding out whether deals got done up to about 9, 10 o'clock, I'm sure. So, as always, on Monday, a very busy day on talkSPORT. We'll be right across all the transfer news for you. It's Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. And go along to talksport.com, our website, where we've got the transfer ticker and Crookie's notebook and everything that's going on to keep you in touch with transfers. We're off to Flushing Meadow next. Not actually to talk about tennis as such, but to talk about snooker. We'll explain why. We'll explain why in a few moments' time. It's Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT.
Former Premier League captain Danny Murphy's told White and Jordan Jarrod Bowen should be leading by example, but Danny understands if Bowen probably took fan criticism personally.
He is probably the one player in that West Ham team over the last few years who you cannot point your finger at for his level of a performance, his dedication to the cause, his work ethic, everything about him, high-quality footballer who they're lucky to have, by the way, because he's a Champions League player.
Bowen's apologised for his touchline spat with supporters following West Ham's League Cup exit at Wolves. Help is on the way, though. Monaco midfielder Songuta Magasa is set for a West Ham medical. We're also told Newcastle are still in talks with Wolves for their striker Jurgen Strand-Larsen. All the latest at talkSPORT.com. Meanwhile, Alexander Isak might actually play some football next week. He's in the Sweden squad to face Slovenia and Kosovo. And Brendan Rodgers admits they just didn't do enough following Celtic's shootout defeat to Kairat Almaty. But he wasn't too harsh on the players either.
I can't fault them. You know, from the first day back, they've been brilliant. Over the course of pre-season, they've given absolutely everything. Domestically, we've started well in the league.
The Hoops miss out on a fourth consecutive Champions League campaign after failing to score a single goal in both legs. Tonight, Rangers aim to overturn a 3-1 deficit in Belgium against Club Brugge. There's more on this at talksport.com.
Yes, we'll be chatting to Lloyd Griffith on his way to the Grimsby United game very shortly. But before that, we crossed a Flushing Meadow for a snooker chat, which does seem a bit odd on the face of it. But the Suns man we often turn to on snooker and darts is over in New York for the tennis, a man of many hats. It's Rob Moore. Good afternoon, Rob.
Hi guys, how you doing? You all right?
Nice gig. The tennis is that a sport you enjoy as well?
Yeah, it's good actually. I don't know if you've been there, but it's nowhere near Manhattan, which is the skyline we all associate with New York. It's about 10 or 12 miles outside in Queens, and we've got Emma Raducanu playing in about half an hour, so that will certainly keep us busy here in the second round. It's not as hot and humid here in New York this past week or so that it can normally be at this time of the year. We often see players fainting and falling on the floor through it. But at the moment, it's relatively decent, almost like a European spring at the moment. It's quite nice weather.
I saw Emma saying that she enjoys the tournament, but I mean, the traffic is a bit of an issue. It takes them a good hour to get out to Flushing Meadow from where they're all staying.
Yeah, I mean, one of my colleagues had to get off the coach on the freeway and walk because there was so much traffic. And my bus this morning, the 9 o'clock bus, reversed into a car. So we all had to get off that bus and get on a separate bus. Because being quite a litigious nation, we all had to sort out a bit of insurance details. Yeah.
So her record against Janice Chen, what do we know? What are her chances this afternoon?
Well, she's the favourite, and obviously she won the title. And she won that first match the other day on Sunday since she won the title in 2021. Janice Chen is obviously a qualifier from Indonesia. It's a debut. Raducanu will be favourite, and the way she played in the previous round was very impressive. So, look, harder tasks will lie ahead, but you would assume that she'll win today. And provided, as I say, it's quite cool outside, so I don't think heat will be a factor. She's starting at 11 o'clock local time, 4 p.m. your time. you'd assume that she'd win that, basically. Got a new coach in her corner, and that's helping. And she's just playing some of the best tennis we've seen since that Flushing Meadows success in 2021.
She seems a lot happier, a lot more settled as well. You see her
interviewed. Yeah. I think Mark Petchey's helped that. I mean, don't forget she had a stalker situation in February, which was a real damaging situation. Mark Petchey came on board in March at Miami, and while he's no longer the coach, I think he's just liberated her. I think he's just got her smiling more, happier more. She likes one of his daughters. They're good friends. She's just, and the thing is, if she's like anything, if you're happy with what you're doing off the court or off a particular sport, it's probably going to translate when you're actually playing that sport. So to a very high level. So yeah, look. At the end of the day, you just want people to fulfil their talent, don't you, basically? And you'd like to see Raducanu get to the latter stages of tournaments because she just hasn't done it since that fairy tale success.
Now, because you're at Flushing Meadow, you've forgone the joys of the Wuhan Open in the snooker. maybe just as well. Won't go into that. And we wanted to talk to you about Stan Moody, a man who does sound like he's played in your granddad's Dominoes team. And he has been dubbed, as any young person who plays sport is, the Luke Littler of, in this case, the Luke Littler of snooker. But he did break the ding curse, which you can maybe tell us more about the ding curse to kick us off, Rob.
Yeah, I mean, on Littler first, a bit of perspective. I mean, Luke Littler was 16 and got to the world final and then won it the year later and set loads of records. So he's not in that class. I mean, they're the same age. They're from the north of but that's about it, I think, in terms of comparisons. So Stan, and obviously snooker's a completely different sport. I mean, you really can't winning titles at the age of 17. You do it when you're 28, 38, 48. So look, he played Ding Junhui. He beat him, knocked him out of the Wuhan Open. And as has happened 22 times previously, since February 2024, every single time someone beats Ding, they lost their next match. It doesn't matter what the tournament is, what the situation, they always lost the match. It's the curse of Ding, as we sort of labelled it. And then this week he managed to beat Ding. He won his next match against Yulong, and he's now thrashed Barry Hawkins 5-0. 466 points to 39. It was a proper thrashing. Wow. And he's now into the quarterfinal. So not only has he done the curse, he's now breaking new ground from a ranking tournament perspective to get to the last 8. So look, we've known for a while that he's a prodigious talent. We know for a while that he's got promise, but it is a slow build in snooker. I mean, Ronnie aside, I mean, he was phenomenal at that age of 17, 18. But look, not many people are electrifying at that age. It does take years and years and years of graft of being in a dark room, as John Higgins called it, for 40-odd years. So look, fair play to him. And he's starting to get on people's radar now, isn't he? By you talking about it, us writing about it, it's starting to get onto people's consciousness.
Yeah, I mean, Hawkins is number 8 in the world. That's quite an achievement.
I mean, Barry Hearn would love a Luke Littler of snooker, wouldn't he? It would be an absolute dream for him, but they don't grow on trees, as you say.
No, they don't grow on trees. He's got a new Netflix documentary coming out next month, which I've seen, and they interview Luke Littler. And I think snooker does need some. I mean, look, Ronnie, Mark Williams, John Higgins, Mark Silver, they'll always pack out the auditoriums, won't they? I'll certainly want to watch them until they retire, but it does need a refresh. And a lot of the youngsters coming through are from China, basically. So I think the Europeans, certainly the British, need to start seeing the talent coming through. But it's harder now because, not perhaps the debate for now, but there's not so many snooker halls now. There's not perhaps the attention span for kids wanting to play snooker. It's quite an undertaking, isn't it, for a kid to play 5, 6, 7 hours of snooker when there's so many other things to do. So, and unlike darts, of course, it's very easy to put a dartboard up at home, isn't it, and start learning sports. Yeah. So I think those are the challenges that snooker does have.
Well, Rob, we appreciate you finding time to chat to us around the tennis. Enjoy the game. Good luck to Emma Raducanu. Thanks very much.
Yeah, cheers. Thank you.
That's Rob Moore there over at Flushing Meadow, and I'm sure our sports team will be keeping an eye on her progress. I think she's underway pretty soon, isn't she? Yeah. Next 5-10 minutes. And Djokovic in action tonight as well. But our focus, of course, as is often the case, will be on football this evening. We've got 2 live games for you. Grimsby Town versus Manchester United. Natalie Sawyer, your host for that one. Jim Proudfoot and Dean Ashton, your commentary team at Blundell Park. And then it's Everton Mansfield, dance in the chair, with Charlie Adam, who worked at Everton on the set pieces, of course, and they'll bring you that one from the audience.
This round of the Carabao Cup is very interesting because the managers want to make changes, but it's very early in the season, and some of the players coming, you can see that you get these disjointed performances, and then you end up bringing all your best players on trying to win the game in the last half an hour. So I'd imagine United will also make a lot of changes tonight, so it'll be interesting.
It's always a bit of a risk, I think, sort of naming rights for stadiums. I mean, because there was a kind of little bit of a transition. When Arsenal, that was Ashburton Grove for a little while, and then it just became the Emirates, and so it very much paid out for the sponsors.
Yeah.
I mean, from Hill Dickinson's point of view, it seems to be paying out pretty rapidly. No one's calling it Bramley Moor Dock anymore, are they?
Apparently the local fans are, I was reading, yeah.
Oh, well, they are.
Yeah.
So they've not gone. Okay, that's
but,
interesting.
Well, yeah, but everybody else in the media is calling it the Hill Dickinson.
Yeah, of course, Tottenham Stadium hasn't got naming rights, and I'm not one for calling it the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, as it didn't move effectively. Only just shifted.
As I
up
told
the
you
road.
earlier, I do know a bloke called Bill Dickinson. He's quite wealthy. He could sponsor
the Bill Dickinson Stadium.
It would work.
Has he got that kind of money that Daniel would be interested in?
Probably not that kind of money.
Probably not.
Not that kind of money, no.
So, we mentioned Grimsby Town versus Manchester United. And on his way, I think possibly at this moment, if he's arrived in Cleethorpes yet for the match tonight, is Lloyd Griffith, actor, award-winning actor in Australia. You aware of this?
Yes, because
they won a Logie, didn't they? His show.
Yeah, it's sort of Death in Paradise spin-off, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
Australia,
right.
Yeah.
So we'll have a chat with Lloyd. The importance of tonight's match, bit of historical background on it as well, and see what sort of mood he's in heading up to the game. So that's coming up very shortly. It's Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT with our very good friends at Toolstation and their award-winning Hawksmoor lawnmower range in store, on the app and online. Next stop, Toolstation. Good afternoon, it's Paul Hawksbee, Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Coming up at 4, Andy Goldstein and Andy Townsend alongside him for Drive. I'm sure they'll be talking about Grimsby, Manchester United, as it's Manchester United is Andy Goldstein's team. We're going to chat to a Grimsby fan in a moment, Lloyd Griffith, comedian and actor. He went out and about with his pal Tomo for a bit of a guide for Manchester United fans heading for, well, not Grimsby, Cleethorpes, and that was part of the story as well. Let's bring you a flavour of that now.
Grimsby Town have been drawn against Manchester United in the League Cup. Now, whilst we both may have been founded in the same year in 1878, we've actually not played each other since 1948. So, me and Tomo have done a little away guide for any Manchester United fans who are making the trip, as a few things might have changed since 1948.
Yeah, I think they probably have. Lloyd joins us now. Good afternoon, Lloyd.
Afternoon, lads. How are you?
Yeah, we're good. I understand from Charlie you've cut short a holiday to be there tonight. Is that right?
Yeah, so I had a lovely little romantic holiday with my girlfriend in Malta, and bless her, she agreed to cut the holiday short by a day so that I could get back for the game. Oh. And then the plane was delayed, and then there was a bird strike. So my mate Luke's very kindly just picked me up from Manchester Airport, and I think we're getting there with 90 minutes to spare. So. All being well, I'll be there.
Wow. So that points to just how huge this is and how big it is for the club tonight.
Yeah, we mentioned it in the video. And that Tomo lad, that's Thomas Turgoose.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah,
I didn't realise from that. Oh,
yeah, I probably should have mentioned that. He was wearing a cap and, he wasn't swearing. So, but we haven't played it other since 1948, which is quite rare. I mean, we played a lot of football teams in and around the Premier League and Championship, and obviously Grimsby Town was a mainstay in the top flight for a number of years. So yeah, it's quite peculiar that we've not played Manchester United for so long. So it is a big deal, and we caused an upset a few years back, beating Southampton, Premier League team who weren't doing well, and Man United, another team not doing that well. The lower half of the Premier League. Who knows what can happen?
There's been a lot of stuff written about Grimsby today, obviously, as previewing the match, and it's quite a go-ahead progressive club, isn't it? I've been reading about this link with Brighton's sort of analysts, they impressed Tony Bloom, the owners of your club, and he sort of agreed to let them sort of help them, basically. Yeah,
so amazingly, we're working with Jamestown, which is like a subsidiary of Tony Bloom's Brighton, and they're an unbelievable data company. Like Gregor Robertson, the ex-Grimsby Town player and now a journalist, he did a great piece in the Times today. Yeah, and they approached us as well. They, it's very much an invite only. They approach teams, and a few years back they approached Grimsby, and so we're quite data led, which is fantastic. We've got a lad from the Faroe Islands, an Icelandic player, a lad that was playing in Derry. We've signed a lad from Truro, and we're all doing really, really well. And David Artell, our gaffer, is an absolute hero. He still has to kind of do character assessments and make sure that they are not wrong and what have you. So we've got a very different approach to what we used to have back in the day. And, it's very forward thinking, and our owners are very forward thinking. Our CEO, Polly Bancroft, she's very forward thinking. So all together, just collectively, we're hoping that this might be the season. And if we can have a little cup run as well and beat Man United, that'd be lovely, wouldn't it?
I do. I'm delighted you left that one particular League Cup scalp from 2005. It was my lot. I was doing a Sky phone-in straight after the game, and I got absolutely slaughtered. Grimsby, yeah, of course. Kalala. Jean-Paul
Cameron McClellan.
That's the boy, yeah. Scored
in goal.
The
well,
goal.
So the team that they put out there, I'm not sure who was in charge at the time. It was Martin Yol, wasn't it? And it was like a full-on. You had Paul Stalteri, Ledley King,
Defoe,
Lennon,
Keane, all started.
Jennings, all started, yeah.
Amazing.
And Paul Robinson was in goal, and I've become quite good friends with Paul Robinson. Yeah. And when we beat Southampton a few years back, he was like, "Now you beat Southampton, you're going to stop bringing up that Tottenham game." I was like, "Absolutely not, no." So yeah, we've done it a few times. We beat Liverpool, in the early 2000s. Phil Jevons with an absolute screamer. So it's not absolutely impossible, but we are playing a Manchester United team who are, let's face it, whilst they are not having a great season, they're still a very, very good Premier League team with a huge depth. So who knows?
Yeah, they've got a lot of very good players. But it's going to be the night of inflatable haddocks.
Yeah, I mean, we had Welcome to the Hell at Galatasaray. I don't quite know how intimidating 2,000 inflatable haddocks are going to be at the Manchester United fans, but we'll see.
Well, I don't know, but I'll tell you how intimidating 4,000 inflatable haddocks will be, because that's going to be a...
Oh, you've got 4,000?
I reckon everyone will bring their haddocks. Everyone's got a haddock that'll come to the game.
Wow.
Yeah, I think they gave 2,000 away, but other people have already got them.
So the club gave 2,000 away, but on the other 2,000 would have their own haddocks. I can't believe I'm having this conversation. Have you got your own inflatable haddock?
Inflatable haddocks.
How many have you got at home, Lloyd?
Well, actually, do you know what? You're talking to a man with 3 different haddocks at home. 3 different iterations. The first one, which was actually a rainbow trout, which people kicked off about.
Yeah.
Then there was one that was a haddock that was done in some sort of mad warehouse, and it just looked like a robot haddock. And then the more recent one is, like, I'd say, a true representation of what we'd call a haddock, with a little bit of shadowing on the side, but it's definitely not cod.
Yeah, you're in good nick though. I mean, it's not going to be easy for Manchester United. You've got you personally will take that as read, but the team and their current form, it is good, and you're scoring goals, aren't you?
Yeah, we're scoring goals, and again, I think it is due to the coach, David Artelli. He's a brilliant coach. I've got a lot of friends that support League One and League Two teams, and whenever there was a vacancy in the last kind of 2 or 3 years, everyone did want to approach David Artell, and once he left Crewe, he had a little bit of a time off. He's come to Grimsby. We've got Jamestown. Finding us players that do find the back of the net. So Jace Cabia, who's our young lad from Truro, he's fantastic. He's a really good lad, very confident, knows where the back of the net is. I think he scored 3 in 3. He has missed a couple of pens, but I've been chatting to him about that. Been giving him a bit of coaching. And if we get a penalty tonight, which I think we will do, we get a lot of touches in the box. We've got some fantastic players. My only worry is that, we put ourselves in the shop window and we lose 2 or 3 at autumn. So we'll see where that goes. But look, we've got a really good team. They are scoring, and we haven't lost this season, and I think, I'm not a betting man, as you well know, but I think it's like 16-1 at the moment. And you kind of go, for a 2-horse race, and we're at home with 4,000 inflatable haddocks. I mean, come on.
Yeah, impossible.
Any Manchester United fans who are just still travelling to the game currently and want to get some fish and chips in before, what's your fish and chip shop of choice in Cleethorpes? Can you let them know?
Fish and chip shop of choice in Cleethorpes is Steele's.
Steele's, okay.
Yeah, Steele's Cornhouse. It's a fantastic fish and chip shop. They do 3 different sizes. Jumbo haddock. If you finish a jumbo haddock, I mean, fair play to you.
Get a certificate.
Yeah.
One of those we get a certificate.
Or buy one and take it along to the match.
Yeah, I suppose that's right. They let you in with a real haddock. They probably won't, I wouldn't imagine.
I don't know. I want to ask you, Lloyd, because we've discussed in the past your career as a chorister. You've got a beautiful voice. I mean, you obviously sing at matches. Do people ever turn around and go, what a fabulous rendition of by far the greatest...
You sing a football song differently, don't you? When you're at a match, when you're singing and it's Grimsby Town, you don't sing it as a chorister, do you, Lloyd?
No, you don't sing as a chorister. It's very different. I mean, it's still the same kind of like concept of, you're singing out loud in a... I always used to get... So if it's on a Saturday, I'll probably hold back, because on a Sunday, I'm usually singing in some sort of church or cathedral. Yeah. And so what I'll do is I'll mime. And then all my mates are like, are you miming? I'm like, yeah. They're like, why? I've got Mozart, Mr. Reverence tomorrow morning, and I don't want to miss that. They're like, that's a bit weird, isn't it? Sing with a load of blokes on a Sunday morning. I'm like, well, mate, you're singing with 3,000 blokes on a Saturday. Yeah. You're in a choir as it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just wear a dressing line, and mascara. But I do sing a little bit differently, but I don't try and stand out, as it were. I'm a bit of a shrinking violet.
And we should, before we let you go, congratulations on, I think it was a Logie Award for your show, Return to Paradise. You had a Best Lead Actor in a Drama nomination, but lost to Sam Neill, and there is no disgrace in that, is there, Lloyd?
I am happy to lose to Mr. Jurassic Park. I mean, the bloke's
exactly.
I loved him since I was a kid.
It's like being the second best player in the world to Lionel Messi, isn't it, really?
Yeah, do you know what I mean? I am the Ronaldo of Australian sitcoms, so that'll be on my headstone.
Brilliant. Safe journey. Enjoy the game. We'll catch up with you soon. Cheers, Lloyd.
Bless you. Cheers, lads. See you later on.
Lloyd Griffith there, in the back of the car. Planes, exciting. Trains and automobiles to get to Blundell Park tonight. You won't miss it either, because it's live on talkSPORT this evening, 8 o'clock kickoff. All the build-up from 7. I'm sure if there's a big giant killing tomorrow, we'll have plenty to talk about. On the show, myself and Charlie. Andy will be here for the spread. But coming up next, it's Andy Goldstein with Andy Townsend alongside him for Drive.